Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of the Nebulous Collection. Nailed it. Anyway,
Nice.
everyone gets to listen to me
And
live as I
the
do
landing.
all the self-promo bullshit. Hooray.
You're...
Everyone gets to listen to me bitching about the layouts of all the Discords being different, because it's awful. Yeen has 2 different layouts in 2 different Discords just to extra confuse me.
Bite me.
Wait, Yin has 2 diffs.
Only if you ask nicely first.
Yeah, no, I've got another one that's mostly dead at this point. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's okay. I think it was an attempt to do what I did with my thingamawhatsit.
Basically, yeah. And then the fact was, because, like, that was before, like, back when Hyenas of the Canyon was more like my,
just your
when that
friend
was
circle.
more of a job, yeah, and so the other one was more of the friend circle one.
Exactly. Pro tip to building a cult of personality around yourself. You need to be there to, like, tend it.
Yeah. Also, you need to have, like...
him having a very strong cult of personality.
Exactly! People love me. Gods alone know why.
Because you're the only extrovert anyone here knows.
Perfection. That's it. Just be the only extrovert in the room.
I mean, that is what... I don't know, I feel... I don't consider myself an introvert, I consider myself an ambivert, just because
we're very ambiverted.
Like... Because it's the weird thing where it's like, people can be great, they can suck, it really just depends.
Oh yeah, of course. And yours is, it's stream announcements, because of course it is. And then it's stream boost in this one. Alright, and that's that folder done, I think. Yes, that is that folder done. Just went right down the list. And we put this one here. And then it's, it's not stream alerts, it's self-promo and zoomies.
Oh, motherfucker.
And then the belfry.
When did that come? Oh my god, okay.
And we're done. Alright, that wasn't so bad, was it? Should tell Zoe she can raid. I'll...
Get in here, Zoe, what the hell?
I will be right back. I'm gonna go fetch Zoe. Love you all. Be back in a sec. Hey, fam. It's time.
Yeah, we're raiding into you now, Nick. Don't worry.
Oh, no big rush. It's just,
I ended the stream as Nick said it's time. So
oh, good.
Hopefully that's good. Right, swapping over. Back in. Bye, everyone. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
Love you all. See you soon.
See ya.
Sorry, no, I'm just
welcome,
I'm
raiders.
Still seeing work stuff.
I found a Zoe.
You both joined simultaneously, and it sounded weird.
Yeah. Listen, that's just the eldritch service you get at the Nebulous Collection. We're here to make you wildly uncomfortable.
I'm sorry, can we get t-shirts made up with that on it?
Yes! I'm going to have one piece of merch in my merch store, and it's a shirt that says that.
I would argue that it shouldn't be a shirt, it should be a pair of booty shorts.
It should be booty shorts, yes.
Yes, it should be.
Should be booty shorts that say that.
We are here to make you wildly uncomfortable.
Oh, I had
it.
Oh my god.
Alright, off to get booze. Back in a sec.
Oh my god.
Here for your discomfort.
Oh my god, I want booze. Why does time have to work the way it does? I want a fast forward button. God.
I should write earphones and not headphones. I'm thinking out loud.
Hi,
Sorry,
Zoe.
my stream today was a couple of matches of Dead by Daylight, followed by me trying to work out what headphones I wanted live on air.
Alright.
I've got the stream.
I've got cheese, crackers, liquor, and drugs. What more could we possibly need?
I'd say focus, but that might be too on the nose.
Oh, man.
Oh, dear.
Well, best of luck finding someone with that here.
If I put capitalism bad in the tags, do you think that'll get me more views?
Probably. I hope so. I'd watch a stream that labeled itself capitalism bad. I mean, you know, think about the audience you're trying to cultivate.
Chaotic and messy,
Good.
and
And you've come to the right place.
God damn it.
it was.
All right.
Also, Nick, look at EJ's current status message. It's
God.
currently sending me.
What do we got? Where is it?
And I need to. Oh, I didn't refill my drink and shit. How much am I holding everyone up at this point?
Go for it.
You're
I'm
not.
not
It's
sure how
fine.
live we are yet.
I mean,
We're live.
Oh, we're properly
No,
live,
fuck.
but that's okay.
ooh.
I'm just hearing fuck.
I'm having a time.
That's fine.
Mm.
Everyone's having a time.
I maintain that interacting with me should always be an experience,
It's
whether or not that's a positive experience is
yeah.
Oh, I leave that to user discretion.
Well, pardon me.
Oh my god. Oh my god, come on.
Oh no, am I feeling emotions? Disgusting. I want that off.
Can't have that. Crush them back into the box. All right. Jokes aside, this is your show, AK. Whenever you want.
Alrighty, everyone let me know when you are good to go.
I'm as
If
good
I'm
as
not,
I'm gonna
what
be.
happens to the stream?
If somebody calls in the next 2 minutes, I'm just going to scream violently into my other headset,
That sounds reasonable.
and they can
Like,
figure
what are
out.
they gonna do? File a complaint?
Exactly.
Take this up with your supervisor.
Where am I? Fucking.
Take this up with my ass.
I've loved being the one in charge at places before, because I have been a dick to people about, like, I want to speak to your manager when they, like, don't like the outcome of something. I'll just, like, duck under the counter and come back up and be like, I'm the proprietor. How might I
Amazing.
assist you? Then they get upset and leave in a huff. It's great. World's best
I am
customer
the
service right
proprietor of
here.
This establishment.
Plus brain.
Yeah.
I think I need to go make a cup of tea. My tachyons are scrambled or whatever the fuck.
Alright, unscramble your tachyon.
I'm sorry. I got carried away with my stream. I
Go
should
get
have.
tea.
I would have had a big
It's
break between the
okay.
two. If
It's
I,
okay. I still have to find my way to the wine bottle, but thankfully,
Mhm.
it's a screw cap.
Similar goals, but
At
in
least
spirit
it's a
the same.
screw cap.
Stimulants, depressants, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
So,
Yeah.
Not both.
Yeah. Anyway, I will
stimulants,
be back
depressants,
as
two
soon as
great tastes
possible.
that taste great
Um,
together.
Set you up,
Wait,
knock you down.
is this stream not safe for
Oh,
work?
done.
Have
safe.
any of my streams
that we're
ever
all
been
here.
safe for work?
Does a blowjob count as vor? Discuss.
You said this in our
No.
server, and I think
No.
the answer is still what the fuck.
Well, the thing
No,
about it
why
is,
would it?
like,
The answer remains what the hell.
I mean, technically,
Vor
I
requires consumption.
yeah, like
It's
vor
not
implies
just putting something in your mouth.
yeah, like
That's-
vor implies consumption.
yeah, like throats. So, like,
Mhm.
if you. And largely, like, full consumption. It's not
Yeah,
more if
exactly.
they're just, like, sucking on your arm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
like that's not vor.
Yeah, no, like,
Fisting.
I mean,
Throat fist.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's somebody who's probably into that, and
I'm
I
sure
don't
there's
like
somebody
knowing that
capable
now.
of
Yeah, I'm sure there's
that.
like a person who's capable of having that done to them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
like a
sure they
sword
were in Mortal
swallower,
Kombat.
probably.
I have seen some weird things. In my days, I've seen
Mhm.
some weird things.
Anyway, tabletop games.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen some weird shit.
Should I do a brief recap while we are waiting on Zoe to return?
That sounds good.
Since I don't know who's here or listening or paying attention, and make
Recaps
sure
are
everyone's
useful.
on the same page.
Yes.
I need to be back in a quick moment.
All right,
I'll be back in a sec.
let's get that all done at once then. So where we last left our intrepid heroes is the wrong word here. Problem solvers. We're gonna say problem solvers. Also
Yeah.
problem causers, but usually for different people than they're solving usually.
Yeah.
Anyway, last session saw the return of the beloved Jane cardholder,
Mhm.
and working in semi-reluctant cahoots with one Tezcatlipoca, who seems to take exception to Jane's, to put it mildly, garish Cinco de Mayo decor in her pocket dimension of the slightly nicer than usual TGI Fridays. Jane followed up on some work that one Eight-Eyed Jack had accrued, pointing towards the source of a wish fragment that Jane had been holding on to. Jane is seeking a bottled wish and has, quote unquote, a dealer for such things. Because the city of the Jinn, Irem of the Pillars, is one of the sources of the wishing engines, which are singularly powerful devices that the Jinn guard quite jealously, and is the source of their wealth and power, using these to literally manufacture wishes and trade them for, well, wishes trade for a lot.
Mhm.
So Jane sent the party into Irem of the
Team
Pillars.
redacted.
But
that word, team
Irem,
redacted.
such that it has been explored thus far, doesn't seem to be in a right state. There's very little signs of life, and what signs there are seem to flicker in and out of being. And the party has encountered a number of wolf-like creatures that seem to shift in and out of reality and consume knowledge.
Oh, right, and time works wrong.
Yeah,
That was
time
another fun
is
one.
also not working great. So whatever is going on with Irem of the Pillars seems to be throwing at least one wrench and likely multiple wrenches into the party's efforts to find the giver of gifts and retrieve Jane's wish. Their first goal is to track the one known as the Broker of Regrets, who is the giver's right-hand Jinn.
All right.
So did you
Also,
come
Dread
to a
to say set their clothes
conclusion?
on fire. It was very funny.
Yeah, Dreadfuss is wearing a really nice cocktail dress now. She hates it.
Yeah, did I link that in the chat?
You did.
I believe so.
I linked it in the server, but not necessarily the chat. There we go.
Oh
link.
boy.
I've found the centerpiece of Havelock's bedroom.
I'm worried.
It's in RP chat.
Again, I was
middle,
correct.
Or do you have it set off to the side like an air conditioning unit?
It's probably like right next to the bed. Like it's got to be within easy reach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking
My
Havelock might have one of
phone's
those.
Stuffed under my arm, so I can't see what everyone's talking about. But I'm sure that it's somehow horny.
Oh, definitely.
The pressurized cave
Okay,
of
we're
lube.
back.
275-gallon crate of lube.
Only 275 gallons.
That'll last you nearly a month.
Almost.
I mean, when you've got somebody like Nebby for a partner, you have to figure things out.
Oh yeah.
All right. Is
Use a
everyone
lot.
present and is everyone ready?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm here.
That's 3 out of
I'm
4.
present enough.
Fair enough.
But I still need to know. Did you come to a conclusion?
Yes, we came to a
Yeah,
conclusion. The answer's
on
no.
the
Definitely
what?
not Vor.
It's not Vor.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Damn it.
Vor implies
yeah.
consumption. Unless you
Yeah,
are
that's
biting off and swallowing the damn thing, it's not Vor.
I mean,
absolutely. If you were doing so, I would count that as Vor. Fair enough. That's also
Did
several
you-
other things, but
Yeah.
did you
otherwise, like sucking
consider?
on someone's fingers
did-
counts as Vor. And that's
Anyway,
You considered the swallowing correct. That was put into the calculations.
yes,
Yes.
Okay.
spitters and quitters.
Mm-hmm.
No, swallowing is just cannibalism.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Well, amongst other things, but yes,
Yeah.
What?
amongst other things.
No, it's cannibalism. Voring requires eating a person. Sorry, I'm talking to Bun too.
I-
Bun is in this conversation.
Good. I value Bun's input.
Ow.
Bud is kind of an authority on these kinds of things.
Yes, indeed.
We really need to have
Gosh.
Bun make a character for this sometime. Like, not as a consistent thing, because I don't think they'd want that kind of commitment. But
Like as a one-off would be fun.
yeah, having
So-
Bun as a character for a one
As a
shot.
A
reminder,
bun-off.
I do have a stop at 8.
Yes.
Yeah, so we need to get on it.
And as mentioned, because I've had a week to think through things and my brain only works in one direction, I've added more things.
That's
So
fine.
this
Of
will
course.
be a 3-parter, and I don't think it'll go beyond that, but I also can't promise anything.
We love you no
So-
matter what
Yeah.
happens.
Listen, you make
in
cool
the-
stories.
I appreciate that.
So
Uh,
where was I or we technically?
You are still with the group, and the group is still on the approach to Iron of the Pillars, which you'll find the setting image I used there in the VC share.
Yes.
The sand-swept desert and a vault of stars above, and a 3-tiered ring-like city rising
No,
up from the sands.
No. Cat.
With an aqueduct.
Cat
Mm.
bliss.
An aqueduct and promenade stretching into the city. The party was still moving along said promenade, having just tangled with a number of the glass-like wolf things. Again, reference image also found in VC share. And the last thing that happened before we cut last week was the party finding a partially devoured corpse of a djinn that flickered out of being, and then found themselves briefly pursued by the same entities that they had previously put down before those two also flickered out of being. Suffice it
Huh.
to say, a lot of things are flickering in and out.
Not just me for once.
Yes, the effect that was once something of Dreadfusay's trademark now seems to be applied to the setting itself, which raises more
Interesting.
questions than it answers.
Yes.
So far, there have been no answers. We're still firmly in the questions phase, but fear not, we're getting there.
So I presume we're going to continue down the aqueduct or in whatever significant direction we're going.
Yes,
Mhm.
there's like unless you're interested in exploring boundless tracts of sand, and I've had
Great
parties do
tracts of
Stranger
sand.
Things.
And yep.
Believe me, parties in all RPGs have an uncanny ability to point in the direction you have the least planned for and go there.
Mm-hmm.
That
Sure
aside,
do.
you're not far off from the gates of the city itself.
Let's go.
Probably less than a kilometer. So, also, the time of night has not really seemed to shift. Not that there is anything like a moon or other celestial body beyond the stars by which to track any sort of motion. And I don't know if anyone's been keeping an eye on the stars, but for anyone who has, there hasn't been much in the way of motion there. So how much time has elapsed is unclear. But there's also not a lot in the way of light or noise coming from the city itself.
That's concerning.
It is.
And imagine a city
Especially-
of Jinn as, I don't know, bustling? I've always imagined bustle.
Well, it is certainly ostentatious, and that much has not changed regardless of anything else. On approach, you can start to make out some of the details of the buildings themselves, and they are two of the last singularly ornate, tiled with elaborate mosaics, stonework that is elaborately carved, a lot of gilding. There's a lot of little bits of metal here and there lining things, shining in the darkness. and there is the occasional flicker of the irregular light of a fire or a lamp or something like that, but not regular and not loud.
At least from the perspective of my two, I vote we just keep on going until we get in there and see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't have I don't necessarily have an issue with that, but I'm nervous about just going straight into the gates. Like
How
I
else are
guess
we
I
gonna
should
get in?
talk in character. I'm worried that we're walking straight into an ambush.
In the city?
It's a possibility. It
Sure is.
There's always about a dozen things going on that we aren't briefed on before we're thrown into another world. So
That's always
why
how
would
it
we
Sure
go
goes.
are.
different?
Yeah, but we've dealt with them so far.
Also, given question for if you're Cinia, I don't know whether you would want me to roll again for this, but if she extends that death sense she's got, does she get more feedback on that front from the city? More
Like
of the
extending
same,
the range of it? It's not something you need to roll on. Don't worry about that. So
does she...
your death sense kind of remind me what that tells you. What's that?
Basically, it just gives me last week when we were talking about this, when I extended it towards the glass wolves, or when Yersinia did, she sensed what you described. It was like death going back into life in a weird sort of rewinding sense.
Yes.
And
like that ungrills your cheese video.
Fuck you, ungrills your cheese.
I hate that video.
So that's what she's trying to do, because and the way it works is that obviously more death or more of this weird behavior can also travel farther. So even though they're relatively outside of the city, she's trying to see if she can sense that the same weird bullshit's going on in there.
Yeah, so as you approach the city, you extend your detection field there, for lack of a better term. And it keeps picking up very odd, very irregular flickers of death. No, wait, life. No, wait, death. It's as I said, you've experienced things transitioning from life to death, and in the other direction as well for revivifications. And you've never experienced a sensation that's this irregular.
Yeah.
And as you continue to approach, you finally reach a point that your detection field overlaps with the interior of the city itself, and you are immediately hit with a very almost overwhelming wave of just death and decay.
Okay.
And that's the first, far and away the most consistent and strongest signal you've gotten since you came here.
Guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ether has a point.
Oh.
That city, I can't tell you what's going on, but my god, it's full of something that's dead and rotting.
Ooh.
Heads up.
Well, nothing for it but to keep going.
Such wildly different reactions from Havelock. It's like, ooh, the plot thickens, and I'm just like, that's bad, actually.
Yep. Havelock is like, oh, something new to devour. How exciting.
Can the book eat dead things if the consciousness has already vanished?
Yup.
I'm just
It's not as tasty.
to say probably doesn't know what Schrodinger's cat is, right?
Probably not.
But I'm not sure because she's the sort of person who. Can I roll to see if Dreadversay knows what Schrodinger's cat is?
You know what? I'll allow that.
It's only gonna be 1d6. I'm not gonna make a.
Yeah, go for a 1d6.
Just
Professor's going to
She is
summon
full of
Wikipedia.
surprises.
It just didn't send. That was, for a second. That was weird. It did a bloop.
Oh,
Discord blooped at me,
oh dear.
The sidekick
and now the
might
bot.
be-
Um,
Oh, the sidekick is offline.
God damn it.
oh,
All right, use
piss.
the other one.
He's taking a smoke break.
Parser's there though.
Yep, use parser.
Yeah. 4.
I
So
wonder if the
yes,
house
Yes.
doesn't
you
go
do.
on break.
You do in fact know what Schrodinger's cat is.
it's
I was really hoping that would be a yes, but
she knows
That would be,
Schrodinger's
you know, a
cat,
really
but wrong.
bastardized version of it.
Yup.
It's like if you put two cats in a box and look away for a minute, they're both dead.
Hmm. So do you know what a Schrodinger is? Because
When was
Yersinia
Schrodinger?
looks-
When was Schrodinger alive?
I believe
when
that
was
would have
Schrodinger
been,
popular?
Like, what,
Sorry, more
the,
pertinent question.
60s?
20s?
Or the 20s?
I don't know. I feel
Hmm.
like
It's like Havelock may have heard of this new this new
Roll for
upstart
Schrodinger.
scientist Schrodinger.
Schrodinger
Schrodinger.
developed the Schrodinger's cat experiment in 1935.
Nope.
So that
After
would be
Havelock's
a
time.
little bit later.
Yep. Yeah, Havelock's like, nope, never heard of him.
So
maybe he would have heard of Schrodinger, but not the Schrodinger's cat experiment. Like that hadn't happened yet.
Maybe. Havelock was also more into history than
Yeah.
theoretical physics.
yeah, I
Gay
feel like
can't do math.
Schrodinger's become more popular in recent years than he probably was at the time. I think at the time probably people thought he was murdering cats. I'm going to be honest. Probably got banned from a lot of conventions.
So, who is this Schrodinger, and was their
It's-
cat lovely?
Yeah. Yeah,
I want to
It's
hear
like-
you
Doing it.
explain this.
the cat is alive. The cat is dead. The cat is alive. The cat is dead.
Well, which is it? Or is it both
Yersinia-
simultaneously?
Both.
Yersinia
neither.
starts gesturing like, yes, that's what's happening.
Ooh, how exciting! I wonder
The
what it would
most
be
exciting
like.
thing
There's
for a
no cats.
scientist, consensus.
Now.
What must it be like to absorb something that is both alive and dead?
Yersinia's
mean,
like,
I'm
given that I
absorbing
can
the
feel
memory
it,
of
it's
that
Not great.
In theory, and it's giving me about 7 headaches.
Wait, what was that, Yersinia?
Given what I can sense, it's not a great time.
Oh, for them or for you?
Both.
Ah, all right, all right. Well, at this point, Havelock just reaches somewhere into their dress and takes out a cigar and just clips the end and begins toasting and lighting it. just
Havelock, you
having
have
a cigar.
garter. You have a garter on that's just got
Yes.
cigars stuck in it.
Oh yes.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Mhm.
Sorry, got the microphone.
Havelock is wearing
Yersinia is
Havelock is
like-
wearing 2 garters. One of them has a bunch of syringes in it. The other has cigars.
Wear one on each leg. Be
Exactly.
classy. Also, garters require a garter belt. So.
Oh, Havelock's
throw 'em
wearing a
in there,
garter
too.
belt. Come on now. If you
Well,
think
of course.
Havelock's not wearing fishnet stockings and a garter belt, you're out of your mind.
I
Also, for your. Go ahead, Ether.
Sorry, I'm being completely distracted by something I saw on another server, but it is so strongly reminding us of the characters in this game that I sent it in VC share. Like,
Awesome.
it's intensely reminding
I
us.
find it quite
Um,
simple.
So. I do.
Anyway,
So,
Ether
Yeah.
also starts smoking. I'm just like, that's a good idea, actually.
So Yersinia just straight up starts like stomping towards. She's the thing about it is that like any good scientist, and now with the idea of Schrodinger's cat in her head,
Oh boy.
she has got to see what's going on in here.
Oh yeah, same. Like Havelock is here for this.
So
and
like, I presume we can fast forward to we get to the gates,
oh
basically.
yeah. Um, yeah, the approach is otherwise uneventful, but the not only the sensation of death, but the smell of it grows stronger as you approach, to the point that, I mean, anyone that's been around a corpse knows that The
nose
smell
knows.
of that carries.
I've now realized we never figured out, like, we never decided if ether can smell.
Let's go with no. It makes it funnier.
Yeah.
No, it's
I-
probably funnier.
Fair.
I mean, why would ether need to smell? Is the question.
I'm gonna say that they have like a detector that can detect like the dangerous things that your nose is meant to catch.
Just a
Then again,
carbon monoxide.
wait,
Just got
hang
a
up,
carbon
hold on,
monoxide
wait,
detector in the
wait,
middle
stop.
of their face.
Yeah. What
Ether
you?
has to be able to smell, because otherwise, why are you smoking?
Oh, they do have. Well, oral fixation is the main thing.
Okay, valid.
Fair enough.
They have a mouth, just not
Yeah.
necessarily.
I'm gonna say that they can smell like dangerous chemicals and gases and stuff.
Which would make
Um,
sense because they
the-
smoke, which
They have
is
a
dangerous
chemical
anyway.
monitor, essentially, or chemical.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a chemical
molecule
detector.
Yeah.
Parts per
But they
million.
can't-
Yeah,
But
I
they
mean,
Yeah.
can't smell anything that isn't dangerous, so they can't smell the corpses because that's just rot. That's not an immediate hazard.
I mean, I guess
itself, at
biohazard,
least.
but that would be less of a threat to something.
Yeah.
cybernetic.
Also, I don't know
so.
that you could get like the sort of thing like that can smell parts per million that would be able to like.
Yeah, that would be tricky to
Yeah.
trace with a corpse.
So.
Because like, anyway, let's kick
So-
down the door and see what's going on.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
There are gates to the city. They are about 3 stories high.
Wild.
And exquisitely carved. They almost remind you of the gates of Babylon.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Just- They are also thoroughly ruined and smashed in.
Oh. Oh, that's not good.
I get my
And-
shotgun out.
Yep. Havelock.
Reload it.
Havelock takes out their gun, just checks to make sure all their guns are loaded, and just has their monstrous 4-barrel in their hands.
Yeah, like I have to top up like my 2 weapons, and just like make sure everything's at easy access.
Yersinia's gonna give everybody something. She's gonna
Ah.
reach into her pocket, and for those who have noses, she's gonna pull out a little bottle of peppermint oil.
Hmm.
Rub this under your nose. Shit's about to get bad.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
What's that?
So this is a trick used by
Acting in
doctors.
character.
Yeah, no. She's so okay. So in that case, she's going to answer in character. So
Uh-huh.
back when I worked in the autopsy ward at my at the nunnery, sometimes you get an old one, as it
Mhm.
were. They smell pretty appallingly. I don't think you have to worry about it because, my good mechanical friend, I don't think that's part of your repertoire. But for the rest of these, if we can smell death this far outside the city, the odds are there are piles of corpses on the other sides of those doors. Just
Hooray.
What do
I'm
you
going to
mean
do my-
smell death.
So I smell death in 2 ways. I can just sense where things have died, and I sense it through these roughly the way we've come to understand it where I come from is that I'm essentially using my necromantic senses through the very basic system of brain that also governs scent, which is why it tends to be perceived as a scent to us. However, there's also just the fact that I have a nose and I smell rot. I smell rotting bodies.
What is
You could have just said you had a magic nose.
I just start getting more confused like
Ether, honey,
Smell
I'll explain it to you later.
what does rot smell like? I don't
It
smell
Unpleasant.
anything.
Well,
Sweet and horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are the rest of you smelling anything?
Yup.
yeah, it is quite obvious to anyone
Yeah.
that can.
Now
It's not
Havelock's
even
like,
subtle.
yeah. No, Havelock immediately just takes it and puts it under their nose and is like, peppermint.
I think this might be Ether's realization that they smell wild, like their sense of smell is wildly different from the rest of the parties.
Mm-hmm.
And they just like,
Yeah.
wait, why can't I smell? Whatever.
You might not have been built that way, Ether.
Mhm.
Possibly.
You can have a nose. You smell
Which-
terrible.
In that case, lucky you. This is going to be unpleasant for the rest of us.
Yeah, your Yersinia and Mithra. You can see that with your Yersinia and Mithraea, they're used to this. They rub the stuff under their nose, tie like a scarf around the nose,
Oh, yeah.
and then also rub it on the inside of their veils too.
Yep. Havelock is an archaeologist, or well, like did archaeological research before this, so it's not as much an issue for them.
Mm-hmm.
But like they're used to the occasional like tomb smell.
Yeah, they're not used to the body heap.
Yeah, no, they're not used to the body heaps. But they're like, yeah, unpleasant smells are nothing new, and they do tie like a very lovely, lovingly well embroidered kerchief around their face.
Also, Havelock, I hope, or Nick, I hope you know that I'm picturing Havelock in like the most third house outfit humanly possible.
Oh God, yeah, you would be correct.
Yeah.
Like,
so, anyway.
I may break into, I might speak a bit like Ianthe at periods, and
Yeah.
I'm not sorry for it.
Nope, go for it. Live your best life.
Oh,
He certainly is.
I know what
Sort of.
Havelock does. They
Uh-huh.
make like a sort. They're gonna do a bit of magic on themselves, and it's a little unpleasant to look at. And they cover it with a kerchief pretty quickly, but they essentially like words sort of flow down their hand, and like some sort of something seems to plug their nose a bit.
I was just expecting like their nose to disappear.
Oh gods! Ooh, that might be more fun. I like that one better.
What good is a nose, Mr. Havelock, if you're unable to smell?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, darlings, we must be on our way.
You are really leaning into the ante.
I
Okay.
love Ianthe
let's-
so much.
So,
Carrying on.
I thought.
going to need a moment to describe all of this, but
Mm.
as you step inside the city gates, what you come across is a city that is one of the most gleaming, one of the most over designed, one of the wealthiest that you've ever seen, that has been thoroughly dismantled. Not in a neat way, not in not in a methodical way, but in a very rough, catastrophic, like it was hit by a natural disaster, like it was hit by a hurricane directly.
Well.
And there are corpses like almost literally lining the streets, and again, not in a neat way, but like
Like they
like,
died where they fell.
yes. And there are no active fires. There's smoke billowing about, but the city is eerily quiet. It truly feels like it is the aftermath of such a disaster that's been a long enough time that the blood is not fresh, that the things that are going to crumble and collapse have already collapsed. Fires have put themselves out, and now there is just the remnants thereof. The only movement that you catch is the occasional glimpse of more of those wolf things. You see them moving between alleyways, between buildings, through alleyways, and occasionally one will sort of glance and sniff in your direction, but they don't seem to pay you much mind. But there's an overwhelming sense of just emptiness here, and the smell of death, let alone what Yersinia is experiencing, is almost overpowering. And the city stretches into the distance, as I said, the three concentric rings, and the furthest ring in the center of the city essentially terminates in a small spire that rises up a bit. It's not monumentally so. It just happens to be the tallest building about. And as you start to pick your way into the city proper, a brilliant blue light suddenly shines out from that central spire, and you hear a low thrum, a rumble that almost shakes the dust at your feet. And then there is a brilliant blue flash of light that shockwaves out from that spire, and in the span of a moment consumes the city and yourself, and then in the next moment you are standing right where you were, and the city is quite pristine. It is sterile. The bodies are gone. The streets are clean. The air itself smells clean, but there's still no signs of life. Everything is put back together. Buildings that collapsed into rubble are whole once more. But everything is empty. The windows of the buildings feel like the dead eyes of a skeleton. And you still see some of the wolf creatures lurking about in the corners.
Ooh, Nelly.
And here I was worried we'd missed the party.
Question.
Yes.
When we were talking about those corpses, how old are they? Are they like mummified or are they still in full rot?
Full rot, but the worst and, shall I say, most
Explodey?
most gratuitous parts of that is past. I'd say a few weeks.
Okay.
They are still fairly rotted, but they are all rather dried. All rather dried out and picked apart.
Yeah, no, there's not a whole other things you don't necessarily expect to answer.
Yeah.
But I mean, technically,
a long time ago.
Not a long time ago. This is a couple of weeks ago. Maybe more. It's hard to say because Yersinia is kind of looking. She's looking around again. She's looking for the bodies because she was just about to go full on CSI Plutos before they all disappeared.
Of note, Yersinia specifically, for everyone, the scent of death disappears when the city seems to reset. But Yersinia, your death detection is still pinging off. That does not shift, and that's the only part of your perception that doesn't.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, she doesn't like this, and neither Mithraia doesn't have Yersinia's senses. Her abilities are. She has necromantic abilities. She doesn't really use them any longer because she is what she is. She's a necromantic construct herself that just happens to share a body with the person who made her that way. But what little she's got left as kind of she can't smell anything, but she just knows shit's not right.
Yeah.
But then again, you could. I was going to say, you don't need a necromancer to be a necromancer to know that something is not correct here.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
I just feel the need to mention it because Mithraia.
I was always wondering why Mithraia hasn't done much in the way of necromancy once she has a body again.
Well, again, I think most of it's just the fact that she had the skill back in the day, but she just didn't really enjoy it. Like, look, the fact is that
that's fair.
One day we will explore more of how their society works, because essentially between like Yersinia and Mithraia, they worked in the way their nunnery worked. Again, Mithraia was basically a lawyer.
I know
lawyer
that.
Whose job it is to talk ghosts.
Yep.
And Yersinia did, her
autopsies,
primary thing.
Apparently.
Well, yeah, that was originally when I'd kind of plotted her out. She was mostly just research, but I decided I was like, why not research and forensics? Like,
Makes sense.
You've got lawyers in this nunnery, you might as well also have like basically an entire religious force devoted to like maintaining law and order.
Yeah, it makes
Vatican
sense.
cops.
No, not Vatican cops. Well,
perhaps
the whole thing
trip
about
to Plutos is in order, mayhaps.
Maybe, I don't know. It's always felt weird.
Mayhap.
I've thought about that, but anyway, I don't want to sidetrack too much. For the record, though, they are not cops because the fact is that by virtue of being able to actually raise the dead, they can actually get the truth.
Yeah.
Like, there is no
Can't
room.
lie.
Yeah, there's no room to like, and the fact is that technically ghosts can lie on their planet, but it's hard to lie to a necromancer. They can sense when you're fucking around.
I was referencing the spell speak with that specifically.
Oh, well, that too.
Point taken.
But yeah, so anyway, moving on.
Well,
The city is much cleaner and smells better.
whatever is happening at that tower.
Yersine's like, I don't like this.
Yeah, that's fair. Shall we head
But-
on anyway?
Yes, please. I need to find out, and I need to make whatever this is, like, just stop.
To the tower, then. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder what... You know, Havelock, as they're going along, like... Havelock has their gun out, and they're still chomping on their cigar. Nibirius has drawn their extremely ornate spear. And... as everyone's walking along, Havelock's just like, so, who wants to bet on what's causing this?
Yersini is like, frankly, I'm not convinced that we didn't also just get vaporized into whatever was before all this changed.
Well,
I think it's shrouded in that
We're dead
bastard.
too.
if that
It's
happened...
possible.
It's possible, but if that happened, it happened so seamlessly we didn't notice. I don't feel markedly different, and
I don't feel dead.
given the way the book works, I feel like I'd notice if I were...
Yeah. Well, theory, guys. I don't know, guys and ladies and gentlethems.
Mm-hmm.
Gentle thems? Is that what you said?
Gentlethems. Yes, I do.
Yes.
I love that.
It's good. Mm-hmm.
There's whatever's going on here is something I've never experienced in my whole goddamn life, and unlife for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't, and again, we're dealing with wishes. I wouldn't put it past a wish being able to
Do
do
this?
something like this.
Oh, that was my
Because
thought
functionally,
exactly.
none of this makes sense unless the laws are completely out to lunch.
This feels like a wish that may have rewritten some of the fundamental laws here. The real question is... why?
Yeah. So let's go and figure this shit out. Also,
Let's.
question, AK, what
Yeah.
the hell did the djinn look like in this world?
So the
'Cause I
djinn
wasn't
are
around to hear that.
fairly human-like. Same basic structure: 2 arms, 2 legs, etc., etc.
Okay.
They have very angular features that are almost crystalline, very like
Oh.
sharp angles. And their skin is a very luminous, crystalline sort of blue tone.
Ooh,
Ah,
I like
And
that.
their eyes are just pure white.
nice.
Otherwise, they're quite human in appearance.
All right.
Okay.
Like, they'll stand out in a crowd, but not in a multiverse. They wouldn't stand out in the House of
Mhm.
the Setting Sun, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm. Another quick thing, actually, now that I've just recalled. There were djinn at the House of the Setting Sun.
Yes.
That was maybe a month ago? Couple of months?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, but is this the only djinn stronghold?
that's what I'm wondering.
There are multiple djinn cities, essentially. They're always built around wishing engines, but wishing engines are extremely rare.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's
Even
not a
according
lot.
to what Jane understood and whether or not she can, how much she knows, whether she can be trusted, etc., etc. At her
Mhm.
guess, there was less than a dozen across the multiverse.
Damn.
Like, they are extremely rare
Ooh.
because it
right.
manufactures things that can rewrite reality. That's naturally a very
Oh.
scarce.
Friends,
Dangerous
what
thing.
if... Have wishing engines gone haywire before? This is Havelock asking in character if anyone would know that. It's like, has anyone
Yersinia
ever heard of
shrugs.
wishing engines going haywire?
I didn't
or do you
even know
think this
wishing
was-
engine was a thing till
Do you-
a couple hours ago.
Fair. Wonder if this is just a malfunction or if this is deliberate sabotage. Hmm. Maybe someone really had it in for the djinn.
Given that whatever did this seems to be in the tower that
Yeah, I
everything else
assu-
is built around, if someone's got it in for the djinn, it seems that they are a djinn themselves.
Could be. Could be.
What's
I assume we're
like
talking about
Schrödinger
all of this
gin?
as we're walking
yes.
towards the. God
Yeah.
Yes,
damn
as
it.
you're moving.
Yeah.
I
Like Schrodinger's gin, really?
Is Schrödinger a gin?
I don't
I would
believe so.
question. I would question if, like, if this is some kind of defense thing where, maybe all of those bodies were illusionary. All the destruction wasn't really anything that really mattered, and that was all just to play dead to make people go away.
Not very
I
good
mean-
idea. It's made Havlet want to go in more, if anything.
I mean,
Well,
your
we have
city's
a
like, if it
reason
is,
to be here, so we're pushing forward anyway. But I would wonder if this is
whatever
make
it is,
Well,
everyone
whatever it
else fuck
is
off.
lighting my brain up. Like, I've never
Hmm.
experienced anything like this.
I.
If those bodies aren't real, then they have managed to come here. I don't even know what these things are, but if they've managed to make this illusion, then it's one that can basically fool the deepest parts of my neurological system.
That's
So-
very fascinating. Yeah. All of this just makes me want to go in more. I'm a very curious creature, you see.
Mhm.
Mithraia goes, wants to go in more. That's what he said.
I mean, you're curious.
Oh,
and also
Mithraia, you know
immortal,
me
so
so well.
Yes,
self-preservation never really trumps out over
Mhm.
curiosity for you.
That's
however,
correct.
I'm questioning this decision.
Mithraia, like, pats Ether on the shoulder. Question away. It's not really going to stop any of them.
Ah,
Fair.
Essentially,
I
this
see
team
you're in the
is-
spirit of things, Mithraia.
I mean, if you think about it, technically this team is, in the absence of Jack, 3 jocks being led by the nose by 3 wacky scientists.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
That seems
The
apt.
jocks and nerds joining forces.
Yep, and the nerds are leading the
Terrifying.
charge. Let's get in that tower.
Let's.
So the road you walk down is clearly a major sort of boulevard or avenue in the city, but it is not a straight line. It does its share of winding and detours and strange little jogs. This city was not built on a grid. I would say it's closer to Boston than New York City.
Try
Oh,
New
gods.
Mexico. That place is a mess.
Are there
Mm.
any signs of
That
life
means Santa
along
Fe.
the way?
Mm.
Actually, yes. As you turn down one of the many jogs of this boulevard, there is a sort of sudden, well, not sudden. There's a growing sort of, sorry, I'm blanking on the right word here. A hubbub, a commotion.
So we
that
can hear murmuring.
echoes. Not just murmuring, but shouting.
Oh.
And it sounds like furious shouting, shouting and screaming, and it's indistinct and
So it
does
sounds
not
like
seem
a
to be-
riot.
Yes, it very much sounds like a riot.
Hmm. Another question. Along the way before then, did things look pristine? Did things look hastily abandoned? Did things look like they had been did things look like they had just been calmly left, or did they look like they had been abandoned in a hurry?
They looked quite pristine. They almost looked
Staged?
not staged, but this is a slightly dark way to put this, but like if the city got hit by a neutron bomb.
Yep.
Where
Everything
nothing-
just in place.
Yeah, everything in place, but anything living just wiped away.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh.
kind of.
But
Actually,
And
without
yet
any
there's
That's the
this-
feel I've gotten from this so
Mhm.
far. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you felt thus far, and there's a distinct sound of a cacophonous, riotous, is the right way to put it.
Mm.
Sort of sound that echoes down one of the side streets as you continue.
Oh boy.
I
I haven't heard this kind of noise since the coal miners back in the 20s. I do hope this goes better for this lot.
Unions are important, everybody out
Unions are fucking
Yes.
important.
I want to look for a less direct way of approaching it so we don't immediately charge into something.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
Well, so
One-
I don't immediately charge into something. The
Ether.
others are going to do what they will.
Mhm.
But I want to
Ether.
scout ahead.
One thing we
Mm.
might, if this is a city the way AK is describing it, a city like Boston has alleys out the wazoo.
Sure fucking
We
does.
should be able to. We should be able. You want to put more Boston chowder on that? Anyway,
What? What? What did
anyway,
I say?
sorry. The way you said it sounded like you were just like an inch away from going, park the car and have it yet.
Oh. No, I was just talking with candy in my mouth.
Okay, it makes you sound like
That
you're from
crunching
Boston.
Was.
But anyway, so yeah, Yersinia is with Ether on this. Let's slide into the back alleys and see if we can approach this more discreetly.
Carefully.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Absolutely. And as you pointed out, the construction of the city is deeply irregular. So
Mhm.
It's a
it
place
is
built
not
on
difficult.
footpaths.
It is not difficult to find a alley that heads in the direction of the sound without following a road.
Oh, marvelous.
It's just a matter of like, oh, that looks like hopping a gate and dropping
Mhm.
down a ladder, and this alleyway sort of seems to lead you like up onto a rooftop and then down onto what appears to be a balcony, and then descends down almost a fire escape looking set of stairs down back into the alleyway that then leads stairs up into like a drainage pipe.
Mhm.
It's a very irregular sort of path, but it's not hard to follow. It has that very slapdash sort of like these different pieces of architecture were made at vastly different times,
Yeah.
and is sort of routed into one another. So you sort of squeeze into this alleyway and basically single file your way towards the noise. And it ends up you end up pressed against a wrought iron gate. Wrought iron gate that looks like it's been plated in brass and bronze. Got to maintain the extraness even for functional architecture.
Oh, of course.
That looks out onto what appears to be like a small city park, or like a town square sort of structure. There are statues and benches and things like that. But that's not what draws your focus. What draws your focus is the mob of. It's hard to get an accurate head count, but dozens of jinn that are surrounding something.
Oh.
And the roars and screams are a little more obvious to your ears. You pick out your fault, make them suffer, and never was filthy, never was. And the figures closest to the center of the mob seem to be beating something,
Oh,
tearing
dear.
into something.
Friends, I think this might not be I don't think this is a riot. It might be a pogrom.
Oh, what?
A pogrom.
That was in character, by the way.
I know.
I don't know what
Also,
a
I don't know
pogrom
what
is
that
either. I'm
means.
gonna be honest.
A pogrom. Angry mob going out to brutalize and kill people.
Well,
Hey.
frontier justice, you
Just,
mean?
just say angry mob, dude. Just
Oh,
fuck.
and normally it's based on trivialities like race or ethnicity or...
Ah.
Oh. Okay.
racist
Of
or
note-
bigoted mobs, usually.
Of note, Yersinia,
I mean, we don't
your
know
death
that that's
sense is
true.
tingling for all of these jinn, save one.
We don't want to end up making the first Avatar's mistake. That wasn't in character. Actually, it might have been. Maybe Ethan's a fan of.
AK, sorry. I just realized I fucking muted my goddamn headset because I was eating a pickle. Anyway, can you repeat what you just said about your Yersinia?
You can tell that your death sense is telling you that all of these Jinn in this mob are dead.
Okay.
Save one.
Oh.
Okay, which one? Is that the one who's getting the shit kicked out of them?
That's a fair assumption. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't need to be able to see to guess that.
Okay. So Yersidia's like, guys, I don't think any of those are alive except for the one that they're, well, going to town on, shall we say.
Well, nothing for it but to say hello.
Sure, why not?
I don't know about that.
Off
Actually,
I go.
hang on. Yersidia wants to try. Well, okay, sure. Let's just watch Havelock go.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
Staying on the rooftop.
Yersidia's gonna stay up there too.
Okay.
Mithraea
Well, no,
can join as bodyguard.
Here's the thing, like, if Yersinia's like, hey, I have a thing I want to try, like, Havelock will let her try a thing.
Well, honestly, go down there. She's gonna gain more valuable data from seeing how they react to you, so get at it.
All right. Off I go. Nebby, do keep them safe.
Right.
Nebby can go down with you. Yersidia has ether. They should be fine.
Okay.
Mithraea's gonna go down.
Okay.
Mithraea's also gonna hand the body off to Yersinia, so she now has curves, and Mithraea has nothing except for bones.
Bones. All right. So yeah, I go there with my towering vampire himbo and my very gilded skeleton friend, and we head down.
All right.
And like Havelock's
And a shiny AF dress.
Yep. Havelock's like shouldered their guns holstered. It's away. And they're just they'll walk up and once they reach someone in the back of the crowd, they'll be like, "Excuse me."
Do
you know the way to Albuquerque?
Oh, God.
You tap one of these Jinn on the shoulder, and they whirl around to face you, and their mask of hatred quickly morphs into utter confusion and borderline horror, and
is something amiss?
Astonishment, in a sense.
May I?
They shriek, "You're alive!"
Yes.
And that seems
as far
to get
as I'm aware.
That seems to get the attention of a part of the mob there, and more of them start turning towards you, and there's this general gasp of like, "They're alive!"
Yeah. Yes, I am alive.
Have they noticed any of us that are still hanging back?
No, they are firmly focused on this alive individual.
The one alive individual in this group, technically.
Yeah, that's true. Mithraea is dead.
Yeah, Nebby's dead.
Ether is alive. Ether is alive.
No.
They're in a robot.
You're not in the. Never mind. Anyway,
down there. Moving on.
Havelock is So, I couldn't help but notice there's a bit of a commotion. Is something going on?
Who are we lynching?
Exactly.
There is a pause of several seconds as the mob sort of quiets and begins to turn, like staring open-mouthed at you.
Havelock is unmoved by this. They're just standing there. If anything, they start preening a bit.
From somewhere in the crowd, a voice calls, "Get their body!"
Oh,
and the mob falls upon you.
Oh dear.
Okay.
I hear that immediately. Just like, shit. I grab the shotgun.
Okay.
I flip off
Yersinia is
the
about
safety
to
and hop off the roof.
Yeah.
So hold up. Yersinia is gonna do. Yersinia's gonna do what Yersinia actually does well. Because if they don't have a body, then
Oh.
they are essentially just souls. And while
Oh.
Yersinea's craft with corpses is janky as fuck,
Mm-hmm.
her ability to fuck with spirits is pretty much top of its line.
Okay, so that is definitely a good idea and thing to keep in mind, but I also have an idea.
I mean, you
Is
can't
it
just
gun?
start shooting, but
Well, hold on. It's not quite just gun. It's a way of potentially diffusing or at least halting the situation's escalation. Have any of them, do any of them know what a gun is or how it works? Because if I just fire a shot in the air, that might catch them all off guard.
I don't know if you're going to be able to Evil Dead this one.
Yeah, also, I
don't know
prefer
what that
them to
means.
not notice us immediately because,
Yeah.
I don't know how many. This is both in and out of character. I don't know how many Yersinia, can control at a go. I don't want them to realize that, half of them are being mind controlled into doing the Macarena down there, and the other half is trying to get up here and fuck with us.
Yeah.
Either I can tell you that from what you've seen so far, first of all, none of the mobs seems to be armed. They all seem to just have their hands and whatnot. And you haven't seen anything technologically that would suggest knowledge or ability of firearms. So you haven't seen anything like that. But that's not necessarily proof. So it's a bit of a coin toss.
There's a decent chance that it would spook them enough to not jump into attacking somebody immediately.
Oh, well, here is another thing.
Or we'll scare them, it'll be like a pack of horses.
If they try to attack Havelock.
Here's the thing, I'm trying to avoid anyone dying, just try and halt the situation's escalation.
Oh, well, that's no fun.
But
so I can tell you this. I think, based on what you've seen in your own intuition, I think there's a decent chance that a shot in the air would at least stun them a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But the mob jumped on Havelock the second someone said get their body. They already seem fairly committed to
bad
acting here.
So
it did not seem like they were particularly in a state to
they're not in a state to be cowed.
Yeah. It still might be worth a shot, and if you want to roll for it, I'd say
I'm going to roll for firing a shot into the air and just saying everyone hold it.
Yeah, give me 1d6 because
all right.
That's a tall order.
Yeah, it's a very tall order.
And then Yersinia will check on your thing depending on how this.
Yeah, that one's still down. 1d6. 5. What's that?
That is a no but.
Fuck.
So the shot does not seem to have an effect on the crowd. The front runners that were within arm's length of Havelock essentially already had their hands on him. And that shot did get them to take their hands off because they didn't see you. All they know is they grabbed him and there was suddenly a very loud, scary noise. So Havelock is not being immediately grappled. That's that's the
so what
there.
Did everyone stop do anything?
They did not seem to hear you. The shot had more of an effect than your voice did.
Also, I should mention that grappling with Havelock is a bad idea.
There is that too.
Yersinia.
Okay, yeah.
Put it on the record that Drevsay just watching this, staring down her staff like a sniper rifle from the roof, doing nothing.
So, just to make sure we're on the same page, it didn't it didn't halt the escalation, but it briefly stunned the crowd.
Yeah,
just having the loud,
a very
noise.
small number of them.
It was like hearing lightning, hearing thunder, and it makes you jump a bit that you weren't expecting. So it got some hands off of Havelock. So, but yeah. So Yersinia, what do you plan on doing here?
Yersinia is going to do what she's good at doing, which is she's going to basically unlike corpses, which at best are like janky and like just wander around, Yersinea's ability to control spirits is pretty next level. And what she's going to try to do is just get everyone to come to a screeching, terrifying, I'm out of control of my own body halt.
Okay.
Or out of control of my own spirit, technically.
So are you
Close
trying
enough.
to do a distributed thing with the crowd, or are you trying to just target a few?
She's gonna try. She'll go for the whole crowd, but she will take just a few if that's all she can get.
Sure.
What do you want me to roll for it?
Give me 3d6.
Okay.
'Cause this is firmly in her realm of expertise.
Oh, damn.
That's yes,
That's
and
a 6. That's a 6. All right. Yeah, name what you want to happen there. That's
basically,
a 6. I can't tell you what to do.
the way that what I'm picturing is that they all come to a stop. Some come to a stop more aggressively than others. So like the ones who are immediately around Havelock, because again, I'm presuming that this kind of goes out in a wave. The ones immediately around Havelock find themselves unable to move, and they are very aware of this. The ones in the back are experiencing essentially the soul equivalent. I've walked into this room and I don't remember why.
All right. So, yeah. All right.
Does Havelock get to do things?
Oh yeah. No, that pretty well stops the horde in its tracks there.
Okay.
You're not like it's a lot to have a hand on, Yersinia, so you're not sure how long you'll be able to hold.
Yeah,
that,
no,
they're
she's
all pretty well stopped.
Yeah, this is some sweating blood territory for her.
The ball's firmly in your guys' court to do stuff.
Now,
so
Havelock,
Dread to say, yeah.
I would say Havelock is still gonna have his lovely guards here, flanking him for it, but we'll talk to the one he initially talked to again, and we'll just say, now let's try this again. I will ask.
Said BRB, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will ask politely, exactly once, what has happened here? And then I'm afraid I'm going to have to get insistent.
The lead spirit is frozen. The only thing it seems to be able to move is its face, essentially.
Okay, good.
Its lips move, its eyes move, such as they are. And they say,
yeah. And then Havelock is like, also, as an aside, this body, you do not want it. Already sharing a space with an eldritch book, it's a whole thing. But carry on. What happened here? Why is everything dead?
In a loud, choked sort of whisper, they say, if you cannot save us, then kill us. I cannot live, cannot sleep, and I cannot get into heaven.
Well, I think I can offer some kind of...
Yeah, you're probably the next closest.
All right.
I can offer
closing the gap.
A bit of an alternative if it's that important to you.
Isn't that worse?
They acknowledge that you said something, but they do not respond.
Best I can do is trap you inside of the book, which will take your entire existence and knowledge and make it a part of a sort of... think of it as a sort of gestalt thing. A chorus under the conducting of one voice. Although...
It's not death, if that's what you're looking for.
It's not quite death, but it's about as close as... I suppose I could also burn your page. That would be true oblivion.
Better that than this.
Fair. Well...
Okay, so
that's...
what's actually... Hold on!
Hold on! Yeah.
What is actually going on? Please.
What do you mean? They've stopped, and Havelock asked a question.
No, I'm.
No,
That's in character.
Oh,
They're
Asking the
trapped.
crowd.
Another voice in the crowd sort of chokes up. We are trapped.
oh dear.
Our bodies are gone. Our world is gone.
So what is this place? Where are we?
This is Hiram of the Pillars, and it is broken, and we cannot fix it.
Could a wish fix it?
The Giver has been trying.
Ah.
The Giver has been failing.
Oh dear.
Is Drepsay within range of this conversation?
I mean, she's still on the roof, right?
Yeah, I know. I think she's still on the roof, is why I was asking.
notably,
I just like the
Yersinia
idea of her,
is-
her being like, have you tried a mechanic? But she's too far away. She's too far away. She can't hear this.
Notably, Yersinia is climbing down and heading towards. Like, this is taking
Mhm.
a lot out of her, for the record. Like,
Oh yeah,
her
she's
nose
she's
is
sweating blood.
bleeding. Yeah, she's sweating blood. It's taking a lot out of her, but she's
If you cannot kill us, kill the fucking Never Was.
What
They can
is
bring
a never?
everything down.
What is a never was? What is that?
Their eyes sort of flick back towards, in the direction of the crowd's original
Well,
focus.
I gathered who, but that doesn't explain how killing them will help.
Mithraia is going around to go and see what a never was is. She's just kind of
Hmm.
like, again, it's just a very tall human skeleton out for a day trip and
Yep.
currently looking for the center of mob violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
Ether
Tuesday.
or Ether stays just because they want more answers.
Yes. What is this never was? What makes them unique? And why do you all want them dead so badly?
Because they can destroy this cursed place.
Oh, so if they die, this entire place collapses in on itself?
Can finally die.
Okay, and that's fair, and I respect your wish. However, I do not wish to die with this place.
Yeah. I don't want to be dead.
Well,
Question:
I don't know that I can be dead. Oh, would I just be
Yeah,
floating
speak
in
for
spa-
yourself.
Would I just be floating in space forever? Oh, that would be terrible.
You're saying you started to say something?
Oh, Mithraia again. She's heading to. She's pretty fast. When she gets to the never was, what does she see?
So on the other side of the
Fast
frozen
bones.
mob, there is what looks to be another djinn, and they have a clasp around their neck, and they are like chained to the ground,
Oh dear.
essentially. They're in a sitting position, but they have a chain that goes from their neck to a weight on the ground.
Okay.
And they are stripped nude and thoroughly beaten. They're covered in bruises. A couple of their fingers are broken. Chunks of their hair are torn out. One of their eyes is blackened and swollen shut. But when you come into sight, they smile and nod at you, and they don't appear especially bothered or in pain. They see you and just sort of nod and smile.
Mithraia kind of drops down onto her haunches, so she's on eye level. She's like, "How you doing, dude?" And again, bear in mind that this djinn is again looking at a defleshed skeleton
Mm-hmm.
with obsidian eyeballs.
A very fancy skeleton.
I'm
The
acceptable.
fanciest.
How are you?
You good with all this?
These things happen
Happen a lot.
here and there. It's to be expected.
I feel that. Life's a lot, isn't it?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, so you're not alive like me?
Technically, I suppose. They
Do
don't
you-
seem particularly inclined to explain things or answer more than they're asked.
Mm.
Okay. Mithraea kind of like looks at them, looks around, looks back at them. And here's the problem with Mithraea.
Hmm.
Because for all that she is generally sensible and whatnot, she does have a little bit of the Havelockian desire to see what happens next.
Yes.
Hmm.
Do you say Havlockian?
Yep.
Yes. So what she's going to try to do is detach that, like, just basically snap the chain that's attaching this never was to the rock or the weight
Mhm.
around their throat.
Okay.
And she's pretty strong, but I don't know how strong she needs to be.
Pretty
Oh
strong.
yeah, it's not a especially
Magical.
magical or even particularly well designed manacle. You and Mithraea is pretty darn strong, so
Yeah.
it snaps quite easily. As you do so, there is a rippling murmur throughout the crowd that's just like, no, don't release it, no. But
Thrice.
you do so and throw off the chain, and the never was just sort of nods and says thank you, but continues to sit.
Okay. I mean, again, Mithraea just kind of sits next to them. She's bored, she's tired. This person seems as friendly as she's about to encounter right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, like you said, again, these things happen. Do they happen, like, to you personally over and over again? Or is it more of like people like you over and over again?
Oh no, nobody likes me except for the giver.
I'm not saying people like liking you as in that, but are you the only one of your kind? That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, others, I think.
Other never wases?
Not very many. It's not a lifestyle many can sustain. It's
I
very
can see
difficult,
why.
but also very easy if you think about it.
You just have to sit here and let them beat the shit out of you?
Well, yes.
I've weirder. I'll tell you one.
Confused.
Hmm?
You seem confused.
Yeah, I'm not from around these parts.
Ah, that would explain this.
That's fucking ominous.
Is this your first time dealing with the djinn?
Yeah. Up till a couple hours ago, I didn't even know what you guys were.
Ah,
We don't have y'all where I come from.
we
It's
do keep to
djinnless.
ourselves.
Although not djinnless. We do like. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Well, would you like me to explain?
Sure, why not? I've got all day. Or well, your Mithraea glances up. I've got until Mithraea starts to bleed out of her eyes, and then I gotta help her.
Ah, well, in order to receive the wish, you must meet with the giver. But the giver's time is very valuable. And so it is the job of the broker to arrange these things on her behalf. However, I'm not very good at being a broker, being a never was. Makes it very difficult to do things. You see, my lifestyle demands that I decide nothing, do nothing, choose nothing. Violent to do anything else. See, every time you decide, every choice you make, you kill off infinite other selves you could have been, lives you could have lived, all the memories, all those lost futures. Well, they are all supposed to die. I could never do that to them. See, I'm a pacifist. But they're all still out there, waiting. That's the end of the explanation as far as they seem concerned.
Mithra kind of looks at them, and she's working her jawbone and in the way that she does when she's thinking. And she's like, so you've made a choice to never make a choice, to prevent anything, to prevent the destruction of any potential timelines around you, I'm guessing. Does that sound right?
It smiles. That's a very good way to think of it.
Interesting. Yeah, no,
Some choices
I mean,
are inevitable, of course, but as few as possible to mitigate the harm.
yeah, interesting. But so riddle me this, not Batman.
Batman.
Where I come from, what
Mhm.
the reason I look the way I do, and it's a long story, and I don't want to get too into it because it's messy. There's some cannibalism. It's a time. Technically, what happened to me was something kind of similar as to what happened to you.
Oh?
I died kind of abruptly, and then now I am a soul in this. All of what I could have been if I was alive doesn't exist anymore. At least where I come from, it doesn't exist anymore. So you and I are a little bit alike.
You sound like you would have many regrets.
Not really. I mean, what's did is did. What's done is done.
That's a very good way to think of things.
And besides, I timeshare a body with that scrawny goth over there, so could be worse. Do you so you can't make any choices like you said, right?
Not on my own.
Okay, cool. So that's why you're just letting the crowd beat the shit out of you. That's just they just don't like y'all cuz
Oh,
reasons?
No. If I die, those accumulated regrets will swallow the city and wrest it from the control of the Elsewolves.
Oh, you mean those horrible glass thingamajiggers?
They
murder
eat
puppers.
memories.
Yes.
Oh.
Huh.
So
they have to...
Can I come down now?
Yes, you can.
No one is stopping you, Dreadfussy.
Just imagine carrying that echo across the plaza.
I come. She doesn't use the psychic. I was going to use the psychic link, but no, that's funnier.
Yep.
Just
They've been trying to
say
kill me for
awkwardly
a few
waddles
weeks
up.
now.
And
It's
it
just not
hasn't
taking?
taken?
Well, each reset,
Ah.
resets things. But I
Oh.
understand the giver is trying very hard.
So
What
the
if I
resets are
went
the giver?
Yes,
Okay.
she is working to wish the city back to its original state before the Elsewolves attacked.
May we
It's very difficult, though.
meet the giver?
They cock their head to a side and look like they're thinking very intently. I don't see why not. You all seem very unusual and very interesting.
Maybe there's a way to undo a lot of this.
That is the hope. Elsewolves are very difficult to deal with, though.
Oh.
They occupy a different causal plane than we do. Normal causality doesn't work on them.
No, eating one was deeply unpleasant.
That is a terrible idea.
Yeah, it was. My arm's still a bit numb.
So Yersinia is still at the front of the crowd because again she's trying to maintain something resembling control here. But she is going to talk to that first one, the spirit that Havelock was talking to. And the point she's going to make is like, look, you all need to chill the fuck out before I start to hemorrhage. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you a deal. We all came here to figure out what's going on and hopefully make a deal with this giver that you all are talking about. We're going to figure that out. If that doesn't work, you say you want to go to heaven. Is that correct?
Anything. Anything other than this cursed half-life.
Okay. So,
Fuck that game.
I'm going to need you all to let us pass through. And if this does not work, I personally will come back here and I will find a way, because where I come from, I am whatever you want to call me. I am a priest, I am a nun, I am a holy woman, I am a shaman. I will send you all somewhere else where you can be fully dead. I will figure out a way. That is what I do. But to do that, I have to have safe passage to first see if I can just make you fully alive again.
The animation is starting to come back to some of the members of the mob. They're not fully mobile, but they're able to sort of shift about, and they are looking at one another rather uncertainly. And the one that you've been speaking to that has sort of unofficially become sort of the spokesperson,
the designated leader.
Yep.
Sort of does a reluctant shrug and is like, well, it's not really up to us. You'll have to get past the wolves.
We got past them once before out on the road.
Oh, we fought against them before. Wasn't pleasant.
Stragglers. Sure, stragglers.
Oh.
Ones that didn't hunt inside the city.
Oh, there are stronger ones in here.
There are stronger ones, there are bigger ones, there are more.
How exciting.
That's what we do. Now, do we have a deal? Because I can feel the blood tears coming on. It's not great.
Fine. But take the Never Was with you.
Okay. We can do that.
We can't guarantee that everyone will feel the same way.
Don't worry about it. It looks like my other, possibly better half has gotten rather taken with them. So I'll leave that up to her.
Are you sure I can't eat a couple?
Wait till afterwards.
I feel like gluttony. I love gluttony. Lust, I just want to eat one.
Stop.
I mean, also, they're pretty ghostly. That'd be some empty calories.
Yeah.
It's like cotton candy of the soul.
It is, but they're still beings of knowledge. Knowledge is what's substantial.
Later. Yersinia finally lets go because this is just ridiculous.
Havelock is there to, like, help her if she seems a bit unsteady, and, does offer her a vial.
Yersinia takes it, drinks it, like, right as, like, full-on blood tears just start to come out of her face.
Ooh. Havelock also offers her another handkerchief.
Thank you. I hope you don't want this back, or at least not without stains on it.
Oh, blood is useful. But don't you worry
Okay, actually, I'm holding on to that. Nope. I know better than to give anything back to Havelock with my bodily fluids on it. Thank you.
Clever girl. Righto,
How long have we worked together?
At least a few months now.
Technically, you realize that it's almost been a year since we started this game.
My god, it has?
Yeah, we're coming up on it.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, Yersinia's going to let them all go and let them do whatever, and Mithraia is going to pick up the Never Was, like...
A sack of potatoes.
I think she originally would have thought about carrying them bridal style, but then it's like she needs her other arm, so it's like, sorry, I don't know what... Sorry,
Friend.
whoever you are, whatever you are, friend, buddy. I'm just gonna have to carry you this way. I know that you don't make choices, so this is probably not going to bother you in that sense, but it bothers me because I feel like you deserve some dignity, but you have to go over the shoulder anyway.
I mean, they didn't seem particularly bothered about being repeatedly beaten by a mob. So
I mean, this is
I
true,
doubt
but
that'll-
Mithraea does have
Takes a lot
something
to bother
resembling
them.
like morals, so
That's fair.
or not, morals isn't the right word. She has qualms. She has like a
She
deep
has
personal
qualms.
sense of care,
Fair.
and this does her a bother. So
Mhm. Fair. Extremely
morals
fair.
is too strong for these weirdos.
Yep. So,
Mithraea having morals is like a fish having a bicycle.
hmm.
Very likely. Why am I still dread of saying that wasn't in character?
Yeah.
Why would a fish not have a bicycle? It makes perfect sense.
Does it?
They need to get around, Nick. They can't afford
So-
cars. They don't work underwater.
Mithraea's going to be like,
They have
take us in the
tanks, why not a bike?
take us in the direction of the giver.
Or
Or well,
well,
not take us. Just give me some verbal instructions.
instructions. Is it the tower? Are they at the
They
tower?
just, yeah, they essentially just raise an arm and point in the direction of the tower.
Many thanks.
You can see it from anywhere in the city.
Figured, but
tracks.
didn't want to assume. All right. So, and Havelock is So your pacifism specifically extends to possibilities?
Oh yes,
Intriguing.
the possibility space of causality. One decision
And-
leading to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. You see.
Oh yes. You could argue our group is a bit paracausal.
Causality
in some
limited?
interesting. Paracausal is the word I'd use for us, I think.
That would explain your ability to effectively combat the Elsewolves.
Oh,
They also
yes.
exist adjacent to normal causality.
Hmm.
Jinn, however, are susceptible to it. We see it as a sixth sense. instance.
And so, being able to see the outcomes of many things, you can't bring yourself to commit to a decision because it would mean the deaths of those other possibilities.
Yes.
Sounds like me when my ADHD's real bad.
Yeah, I've had decision anxiety before. This seems like a rather extreme case, but fair.
My life.
However,
Alright.
this also extends
That's a
to
mood.
it also extends to my past life as well.
Your past life?
Yes, before now.
You
Regrets.
have
I am the broker of regrets, and regrets are very
Oh.
powerful. And it is
So-
the regrets that wait in the wings for me to die or to choose. Either would be similarly catastrophic. And they
Oh.
accumulate, and they sharpen their blades, and they wait.
So, the broker of regrets, is that a mantle you assume? Or is that
Yes.
something you're born to?
To be a broker is a mantle.
Okay,
It is a position of great honor.
right. And are all brokers by necessity never what it is the plural never were?
It would be never was's.
Never wases.
Which-
Oh.
Hmm.
Are all brokers by necessity never wases? Because making decisions could cause catastrophes? Or is that a unique situation you find yourself in?
It is not necessary. I undertook this lifestyle as a function of my own regrets.
Ah,
Becoming the broker opens you up to the understanding of how regrets and the past affect the causality of the future. We think choice is only something we make in the moment and that the future branches out infinitely from there. But the choices we made in the past have already done so. Causality extends in both directions, you see. And once I became the broker, I saw that, and I could not, in good conscience, live with that. And so I chose this life. It was the last true choice I made of my own volition. And the
Okay.
regret it brought about was monumental. But
So,
ultimately,
if
go ahead.
you make a choice now, it would destroy this place and everything in it?
It would break the chain and release all of my regrets upon this place.
So you've metaphysically, or perhaps literally, taken your regrets and sealed/contained them somewhere? Metaphysically speaking.
Yes,
Is that a thing all never wases do?
it is the cornerstone of our existence. Yes.
And how does one stop being, if one were to stop being a never was, one day? All of their bottled up regrets would be unleashed on everything?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Just wanted to make sure I had the gist of it. Thank you. You've been very elucidating.
You're very welcome. Yeah, the never
That's all I
was
had.
/ the broker is very forthcoming, but they really pointedly answer what they are asked,
I
and then
got
sort
that
of
impression.
immediately, yeah. So the awkward pauses are somewhat intentional in there.
Yep.
It's just like you kind of expect them, like, would you like to elaborate on that? And you get
They just
there's
don't.
nothing.
No.
Mhm.
Okay. That's good. That's helpful in this case. Unless anyone else has questions, I suppose we could be at the tower. Unless we encounter some things along the way, who knows?
Yeah. Does anyone have either questions or actions or other sort of things they'd like to do, look at, explore, etc., etc.?
I'm going to make something canon, and because I've been really off and not being able to focus today,
Yeah,
neither is
good.
my character. She knows not a fucking thing about what's going on. She's heard something about pacifism. She's just following the crowd. And I'm sorry about this. I want to pay attention, but my ADHD
you're
seems to be
fine.
acting
You're
up a lot.
valid. Oops. Wrong button.
Good job.
Well, all right.
Oh, so one thing.
Mhm.
Avlog is like, so I do have one more question. These wolves that you mentioned, the
The Elsewolves.
Else wolves, yes. Were they always a part of this place, or did they come here for some reason?
Oh no, they came here
Oh,
some time ago. We don't know why.
and they've
But-
just been causing problems since?
They are drawn to places where many threads, many chains intersect. to feed.
Oh, they're the universe's answer to. Okay. Perhaps there's some sort of balancing mechanism.
Hmm.
Or
Perhaps
they exist.
In a just universe, they might be such. We cannot say if this is one.
Fair. All right. Well. I'll be sure to ask if I come up with more questions.
So Yersinia has a moment. She's like, so the Elsewolves, they eat the roads untaken.
Yes.
Holy shit, this universe has Tommy knockers.
As what?
I think that's there's
Do you mean Langoliers?
Langoliers. Yes, that's what she means.
Yeah, different Stephen King critter.
Yes, I was trying. My brain completely farted out on that. Yeah, no. Yersinia has seen a lot of shitty B horror films because again,
of course she has. I love it.
What if she's seen the TV version of The Shining and not the Kubrick version?
that's probably the version she has seen. I don't want to get too deep
Oh
into this,
god.
but the Langoliers is notoriously horrible.
Yeah.
But that's she's
What?
like she's having
I've
a
never
minute.
heard of that stuff. What the hell is?
I'll
You know
post
what?
a picture
Later,
of what
later,
they look like
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. For now. Wait. So they eat the paths not take. Wait. But they ate my memories.
Yes.
Do they eat regrets or just any memory, or do all
They are not
memories?
picky. They will eat choices in any direction of causality that suits them.
Anytime a
are
choice was made.
Ever
then.
hungering.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. How do I? How do you search for a hole in your memory? What did they get? I suppose I could always check
It is
the book.
difficult to detect an absence. Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't they take the TARDIS manual? If I remember last week. correctly?
Yeah. In
Yeah,
character.
a big chunk of that.
Yeah. Out of character. Yes. In character. I don't know that.
Fair.
Mhm, mhm.
How does
Ooh.
one behold an
You don't know,
absence?
do you? Ooh. I'm wondering,
Yeah,
I'm just like,
mid-90s,
flip a coin
yeah.
on which parts of temporospatial engineering you do not understand and whether they're
Oh,
relevant or
God.
not.
Oh, this is gonna become a complication much later, I'm sure.
Yeah. If you
Oh, wait. Has Havelock spent the last 2 weeks transcribing the damn manual before this mission's? We can talk about this later. Anyway. All right. Well, that's deeply irksome. I don't like them. Knowledge is a precious thing, and to lose any of it is horrifying. Also, eating one was awful. Now that you mention it, I can contextualize what I gained from them.
Mhm.
And it was all just moments where choices were made that changed
You are
things.
what you eat.
I don't. It was utterly incongruous. It was utterly incongruous, and I think I may have had an actual brain hemorrhage from it for a while. It sorted itself out pretty quickly. The body does that. Well,
So I presume we are heading into the tower, or trying to get into it.
we're trying at
You
least.
push further into the city,
Mhm.
and the closer you get to the tower, you see you more regularly encounter wandering Elsewolves. And when you see them, you often see them individually, and in that context, they don't seem to pay you much mind. They pause and sort of sniff the air in your direction and keep moving. But one street you intersect with has a pack of probably half a dozen or so.
Oh dear.
And when they sniff the air, they begin to move in your direction.
Oh,
Not quickly. They don't break into a sprint,
dear.
but they pointedly begin to stalk after you.
I think we've got followers.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't say.
Let's see. Let's not attack until they attack.
Are you looking to get bitten by knowledge-draining creatures?
Okay,
Because
I mean, no, but they have. Here's the thing. I'm not saying. I'm talking about my perspective from dealing with wolves.
I don't think they behave like normal wolves.
I don't know. For some reason, maybe I did get bit by one because I have no memory of what fighting them was like. In
Helpful.
canon memory absence.
Well, helpful.
Um,
I forget if wolf hunting was a thing in Havelock's time. Or were they
There
already
would've-
hunted damn near to extinction by that point?
They were already damn near to extinction by the
Yeah.
time the 20s rolled around.
Mm.
Thought so. Okay. I was like, is
Yeah,
that a
and
late
wolves
18
generally
or mid
weren't
1800s
hunted.
things?
like wolves were generally more just killed to keep off of like farms
Yeah.
and whatnot.
It was-
were rarely
they weren't,
actively
like-
hunted as like
Yeah. They weren't hunted
Well-
as game generally. They were
no, not
it
as
was
game.
they were killed for pest control reasons according to the way
Essentially,
people. Yeah.
And they were exterminated. I mean, that
Oh,
is the
yes.
one thing
Yeah.
in the 1800s they were
yes.
damn near wiped out if
Mhm.
all that destiny had manifested itself all the way out.
Mhm.
Oh, that burden of the white man, etc., etc.
Fuck that noise. Moving on.
Yup.
Yeah. So this small crowd of them
Coincidence?
follows,
What?
and they keep a safe distance. They clearly sniff after you. They don't have eyes
Oh.
as such, but where eyes should be, never really leave you.
Oh, I see.
And as you press deeper into the city, you see occasional elves that will do the similar sort of like pause, and some of them will consciously look towards the pack that follows, and some will continue on their way, but others will join. And they will join that crowd that stalks after you.
We seem to be getting more of them after us, not less. Dear gods, what are these things, Yin?
Those are Langoliers.
Those are Langoliers.
I hate them.
They're very
Moving on.
bad early 90s or mid 90s CGI.
It's very
Yeah, about
funny.
mid 90s.
Yeah.
It's just appallingly bad. But yeah, no, they eat like pocket dimensions.
Yeah, they're supposed to eat time or something like that. It
Yeah.
was a Stephen King short story, and it was not a very good Stephen King short story.
No, it was
so
not. That was during
Was this
the
from
period
his cocaine
where,
days?
yes.
I think so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no,
if that
that's
wasn't
like
obvious.
but yeah, like
I am pressing X to doubt Flocky. Anyway.
yeah, there's a lot of wolves, but
So-
again,
Yeah, you
They're
definitely
not
notice a couple of
attacking
them will sort of
us.
break off.
don't
and
walk like
follow.
prey and you don't get eaten.
Fuck it.
What does that mean?
I don't know,
Means-
it's a feeling you have to have in your heart.
It means you walk with confidence, my friend. Confidence.
Bugger.
Just think murder
Exactly.
and walk.
Just
Yes, just
rest
that-
assured that you are far more dangerous than they could ever hope to be, and everything will be fine.
Just thinking of Dread Fosse eventually trying to bark at them.
She's trying very, very. For the
She
record,
resists-
Jessica has spent the early part of her character development trying to be this, and everything on the in between from then to here has been repeatedly being kicked in the balls by reality. So this is actually a big ask for her.
So
Dear.
do you want to intervene at any point in there, or do you want to kind of let the pack do its thing and see what happens?
I want to see what they're
I
planning.
want to give you the opportunity to go, hey, maybe that's too many of them. Execute Plan B. But
How many are following us roughly right now?
at this point, there's about 9 in total. So it started off at about half a dozen. A couple have joined the pack, but a few have pointedly looked to them and chosen not to. There seems to be some amount of nonverbal communication going on there, but nothing you can pick up on.
How close are we to the tower?
You're within a good way through the second ring. Remember,
Okay.
there's the 3 rings and then the towers at the very
Yup.
center. So
Okay. Okay.
you have a little bit, like I'd say most of the way through the second ring, but the third ring still looms, and the buildings have gotten larger as you've pushed deeper. Not necessarily more ostentatious,
Mm.
just bigger, just more.
All right.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Or Havelock?
Yeah. No. Havelock was about to ask
Either of you.
Havelock was about to ask the never was a thing. Never was. Or do you have a name? Or is there something I should call you, or what works best?
They smile. Whatever you like.
Righto then. Never was. Do you have any estimates? Do you have any estimates about how intelligent the Elsewolves are?
I believe they're fairly intelligent.
They seem to be doing
Yes.
pursuit predator things, which is interesting, but also concerning.
Hmm. They are hunting.
I'm thinking we may want to find a space where we can confront them to the best of that suits our particular fighting styles, rather than just let them follow us until they decide it's time to attack.
Yersinia is going to
They prefer the advantage of numbers. 2
I
to 1
figured.
at least, ideally.
I figured. Okay. As pack creatures often do.
Know your stuff.
All right.
Uh,
well,
Mm-hmm.
not to hack the game at all,
Mm-hmm.
but and this is up to the game master if they allow us to have these, and presuming that they work.
Yeah.
Who remembers the magical flying horses that we picked up in our first game?
I remember them. I forgot about those.
Yeah, we could just fly. We could just hack this and fly.
Just fly. It's
Where
true.
do you
Or
have
find out-
those?
Hmm?
Where do you have those?
They're necklaces, and
yeah, they're
pretty much they seem to be
They're essentially
Mhm.
necromantic constructs that are
Mhm.
contained within the necklace.
I don't know
Yeah.
how many people have one right
I
now.
know-
I figure Yersinia always has hers
Who
because
had
pocket
one?
dimensions.
Yersinia got
Yersinia
one.
did.
Havelock got one. And
Nibirius
then
can just fly.
Nibirius can just fly. Arkrat's character got one, I think, and Whackback
Whackback
got
did.
one.
Yeah.
So
We
be a
do
bit
know they
crowded.
can carry more.
yeah,
You do have what, 6 people?
yeah. I
We
mean,
wouldn't
if we
be able
do,
to get everybody, but at the same time, hold up, hang on.
yeah,
So we know we can carry more than one because back
they
person
can
on
each
one of those
carry
horses.
2.
Yeah.
So, like, if Mithraya and
Nibirius doesn't
Yersinia
need
rode
to.
one, Nibirius could just carry Havelock if it came to it, and then Havelocks could go to Ether and Dreadfusse, theoretically.
Yeah.
And then, the broker.
Well, here's the thing. Technically, with Mithraya and Yersinia, Mithraya can do what she used to do and just wrap her bones around Yersinia's body.
That's true.
And
It's
just
not.
Basically,
Yeah.
they can work that out such that Mithraeus just gonna be like a horrible bony backpack carrying the Neverwas.
Yep. All right. No,
I
this
hate
works.
that.
This works.
If that's acceptable to AK.
Yeah.
I completely
Absolutely,
forgot
yeah.
about this.
Pack
Okay,
everyone
the better
onto-
question is this acceptable to the broker?
The
Are they
broker
I mean-
seems
okay
like
with
anything's
this?
acceptable to them, so yes.
Yeah, they're gonna ride weird baby like.
All right, so
it's
to
gonna be
clarify
like
who's on what.
Okay. So I imagine it would
Yersinia-
be.
Yersinia, Mithraya, and the Neverwas. I was called the has-been on
No.
It's not wrong.
Eh.
on one.
Yep. and then
I feel like-
Dreadfussé and Ether would be on the other.
Actually, no. Hold up. Neburius should probably carry Dreadfussé because I don't know that Dreadfussé can steer one of these things, and I don't know that Ether has the experience.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair.
All right.
I
My-
don't want to
my
see
very outfit.
Dreadfussé trying to drive a horse.
Oh no!
The
that
last
actually
time
happened,
we
didn't
tr-
it? Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
or
well-
wait, yeah, no, well,
Sort of.
sort of. There was
Mixed results.
Yeah.
Dreadfussé rode on Yersinea's horse, like tied over the pommel, like some spoil of war at one point.
Yup.
Hmm.
Was a time. All right. So yeah, I guess in that case, ooh, that kind of works actually. Dreadfussé is small, and
Yes.
Neburius is not.
Yes,
So Neburius,
small and large.
yep. Neburius shoulders his spear, draws his sword instead, and just is like, well, I'll climb aboard then, and just holds out a hand to Dreadfussé.
Okay.
I promise,
Um,
I'll keep it smooth.
I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Flying can be choppy.
Oh yeah, no.
Turbulence.
Wait,
Yeah.
were we like? I'm sorry, I'm really out of it today.
No,
Oh.
it's
We're going flying, dear Dreadfussé. Now hop aboard.
it's okay. Just
Uh,
make sporadic screaming noises.
Mhm.
I think not enough oxygen is getting to my head. Meat.
If it's any consolation, you don't have to have the nose plug.
But what if I
You
smell
can
a
take those
corpse?
out now.
There's
yeah,
no corpses around.
there's no more
Dreadfussé.
Okay,
corpse.
Trevor say just pull that one nose plug.
I was expecting her to just blow really hard.
No, she wants to keep. No, these are valuable. I'm not going to throw my rocks on the floor. She puts... And then she takes a deep breath
See, no
and
corpse
she
smell.
throws up a little bit in her mouth.
Oh dear. You doing okay? It's a lot of oxygen all of a sudden, I suppose. Yep.
I can smell the corpse.
Where?
No,
How?
you can't. There aren't any.
I can smell it anyway.
Oh,
She thinks she can. She can't.
yeah.
Um,
Neburius just like pats her on the back very gently. He's like, there.
There's a goblin.
And then Neburius does just grab her around the waist and put her over his shoulder. All right, up we go.
Time to fly.
All right, and then Havelock and Yersinia, probably to the mounting horror of Ether, especially,
Yeah.
just summon
Yeah,
these
just-
like half-decayed skeleton ghost horse things.
I am very tempted to walk.
And then Havelock
Yersinea's
hops
like,
onto
go
one.
ahead. No skin off our back. They
Yeah.
take off.
Havelock hops onto his and holds out a hand to Havelock like hops onto one like they're gonna and then like looks at their dress and is like, ah, of course, and like sits side saddle and puts away their shotgun and takes out their pistol. And then is like, all right, well, your chariot awaits. You coming, cowboy?
I don't know. I don't like this.
Oh, come on,
Get
they're
on.
harmless. Get on the horse. I've
Yersinia is
flown this
hovering,
one
like-
before.
So
Havelock
I've
like
learned-
pets the horse's head. They're like, aw, who's a good boy? Is it you, Wisp? It's you, isn't it?
I'm starting to learn to almost trust you, Havelock.
That's the spirit.
Take his hand and hop on.
I'm only upset it took you this long. I'm clearly very trustworthy.
Hmm
Yersinia and Hymnia from, somewhere up or overhead. Debatable.
hmm
Love you too, honey. All right. And Havelock, like, very gently, like, just flicks the reins lightly. And off you go.
Oh,
Alright.
Jesus. Just
You
like
take
very,
off.
Hold
very
on
not
tight.
good with flying.
As you are
Oh,
summoning
Definitely never flown
Yeah.
before.
Use the stirrups.
your horses and getting everyone mounted on them, the Elsewolves that had been following you sort of pause and watch what you're doing with some
Hmm.
interest.
Oh, oh no, are we giving them ideas?
If they learn
And
how
as you take off,
Oh,
you
no.
hear one of them steps forward and howls.
Okay.
And the howl it makes doesn't sound like a wolf howl. It sounds like a buzzsaw.
Oh.
Like that very just high pitched screech, sort of like.
Sick.
Yeah.
Terrifying, but
The
also
Bandsaw
sick.
going through a nail.
And
God, I
then
hate that.
well, then they start running after you.
Oh. I was like, oh no, this was too easy and out. There's no way this doesn't cause problems.
Hey,
Looks like we're gonna have a
Time-
welcoming committee when we land.
Oh, very likely.
I have an idea.
If only we could
We wanna
rain
just
death
land
down
on-
upon
To
their
clarify,
heads.
they are
If
definitely
only I
running
could
after
trip
you,
all of them
and-
over with magic, I say. Rolling a nat 20 on my to make the wild magic table activate.
Oh
Oh,
boy!
no.
Nope, no. I just
Okay.
like hear you say this. It's like you're not
No.
glassing the desert. We've been over this.
She's not glass. I'm not.
I don't
Oh.
trust you. I don't
Oh,
believe
that's
you.
oh no. Okay.
Oh
So,
god.
I love.
This
can I
is
just say-
unrelated to whether the cell succeeds or what she did. She's trying to cast Ice Storm to basically make a large slippery area that the wolves will fall over on
Oh
as
dear.
they try to chase.
And
But
what happens when they go around that?
Please don't hurt Nebby,
Don't question
Dreadfussy.
it. But yeah, she
Oh,
has
Nebby
rolled
on foot?
88,
No,
No,
Nebby's
on the wild
holding
magic
her.
tables,
Oh, okay.
which is large floating eye follows caster for 1 hour.
Oh, sick!
Yes. Yes! Oh my god! Oh my
Yes!
god!
I couldn't have heard a more
Ceaseless
perfect.
Watcher!
Yes! And Havelock just looks at the
Your
eye.
upon
Yup.
This
Yeah.
wretched
We got
thing.
one with the
Ceaseless
spell.
Watcher,
The eye
turn
is
your
following.
gaze upon this wretched thing.
Oh my god! Does this
Immediately
make?
taken off guard. It almost falls
Like,
backwards.
Havelock, the worst part is Havelock doesn't like Havelock's face is
don't see
utterly
this.
blank and staring and just looking at the eye.
I'm
Like-
sorry. Hold up. Does this mean that Dreadfussy is the eye's special little girl?
I just immediately like Ether completely like he notices that Havelock is looking at something. I slowly look up and see it of just like Jesus and almost fall off and just reflexively grab my shotgun.
Havelock just yeah, Havelock is like staring. Like, what's weird is like the magic complication like seems to go to Havelock, and then Havelock says those words in a creepy, staring way, looking
Says what
directly at
words?
Dreadfuss. Ceaseless Watcher, turn your gaze upon this wretched thing, and
I
it's
start like leveling or like as I've reflexively pulled out the shotgun, I begin leveling a shot, but I'm unsure if I should actually fire.
and then the eye would kind of apparate near Dreadfuss, and then Havelock would like shake themselves out of it, like looking like what just happened. Not saying anything, but just looking a bit confused.
Did the eye vanish then, or?
Oh no,
No,
it's still there.
No.
It's just hovering.
Yep.
I posted a
I'm just
picture of
gonna,
what
like,
I am picturing in VC share.
Ooh. Havelock sees it and is like, "Ooh, you have a new friend, Dreadfuss."
I just go like, stay at that distance
Ooh,
or further.
or maybe it has a Shoggoth quality to it as well.
No, I like the idea. It's just
It's just a big,
just an
creepy
eye.
floating eye.
I really prefer the idea of just
Just an
huge
eye.
eyeball.
Yeah, just a huge
I
eye.
still don't actually. I still don't know whether the spell works or not.
We're gonna find out.
Well, the side effect
I
works, so
know.
logically the
yeah.
spell probably worked.
The eyeball works,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't supposed to. And the ground does ice over. The wolves don't seem to mind. In fact,
That
they're not-
tracks.
An
they're
effort
not
was
really
made.
running on the ground at all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, if they
I figured.
are they flying? Are they taking off?
They're running in a different angle.
They're running up.
Ah.
Lovely. Okay, faster, everybody.
Great.
Oh,
Also, Havelock
They
is
exist adjacent to
Sorry,
regular reality. A third dimension is nothing to them.
exactly.
I am now unsure. I'm now unsure what I should be aiming the shotgun at.
In fairness, the horses are a fair bit faster than you guys were on foot.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually, in terms of like a running fight, you're in a better position than you would be on the ground. So
Ether.
it's not a complete loss, but it's
Yes.
definitely
Havelock.
like, oh, okay, they can just run up.
As your gun is
Great.
kind of pointed at Havelock, Ether is just like, Ether, friend, love. Not
Wait,
not that
why-
I'm
why
not.
would it be kind of pointed at Havelock?
You were like, what should Ether be pointing the gun at?
Oh yeah. Well, I meant like between the wolf things and the eye.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Havelock is just like, Ether, you might want to what is it you gunslinger types say? Scope up, I think. On the our friends here. And just like points a thumb back at the wolves.
I
You
am
know.
like so hesitant to let the eye leave my field of view.
Oh, by the way, I should mention, the eye looking at it makes you feel very watched. Like,
Yeah.
it's
but,
not
like,
a
at
good
the same time, I am terrified of letting it out of my sight.
Oh, it won't hurt anyone? Probably.
It's that probably
Mostly.
that I don't trust Havelock.
Red
Listen,
to say is having a staring contest with an eyeball with no eyelids.
listen, Eldritch powers are what they are, but you can worry about them later. We have more immediate concerns right now, Ether.
I wonder if I can move my eye cameras independently.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, be a chameleon, live your best life.
Exactly.
Shoot
So
the
I can,
fucking
like,
wolves.
So I can like aim the shotgun at one and the handgun at the wolf.
Or possible modification idea.
Both. How about
Long
both
term.
guns on the wolves and one on the eyeball?
You can just see down your guns. Possible
a
idea
camera
long
on-
term. Yeah.
Like a rail-mounted camera.
Something you could
But I
think
can,
of
like-
long term. Yeah, you can interface directly with those and see down your gun sight.
That'd be rad.
Right?
Anyway, just like fine, and just like just really quickly, just like snap rotate to face the wolves.
Yep. There's a bot. Now, Havelock's like, well, I suppose we're as ready as we ever are to start attacking these things. As Havelock also takes aim. Havelock, Havelock does ask,
Alright, weapons
how
free, I guess.
how sensitive are your ears, Ether? Or
They're-
do you have built-in protection?
I don't figure it'll be an issue when I've fired my shotgun indoors.
Fair
and been
enough.
Fine.
Then hold very steady. And Havelock just braces their gun hand over your shoulder.
Oh Jesus! Like
For-
brace a hand against the horse.
You could probably auto mute that ear.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like shooter's earmuffs.
Mm-hmm.
They just auto mute above a certain threshold, and also they're not organic. It's not like there's an eardrum to get blown out.
Exactly.
Can microphones be damaged by loud enough sound?
I don't-
Probably.
Probably.
Everything can
Depends on
be
the
done.
microphone, though.
I mean, yeah, loud enough sound can break rock.
Well, yeah,
Mm.
Fair.
but like,
I'm
Oh, yeah, that is
I'm
actually-
posting what I've
Yeah,
been
it's that.
doing.
I'm just like, wow, he is permanently deaf in that ear.
Did you see for the longest there was back
I
when
love Fury Road.
Fury Road came out for the first time, there was a gift set going around of how many times something goes off near Max's right ear.
Oh,
Where,
he's
and it was
got.
just labeled "fuck this eardrum" in particular.
Yeah,
He's
no,
completely
really.
deaf in that ear.
Yeah, he's completely
Like,
deaf in his right
completely,
fucking ear.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like-
just done. Anyway,
It's where he's mumbly. You can't tell what volume he's at. He's like me.
That's actually a thing with someone who goes deaf in their lifetime is they have trouble
Mhm.
modulating the sound of their voice. And
Yeah.
it comes out rather,
Yeah.
they tend to have rather nasally sounding
Mm.
voices afterwards. It's interesting.
I'm thinking about that because I've been told my roommates are sleeping, and oh dear. So I'm having
But
to be
yes.
deliberately conscious of that now.
Hmm
Fuck.
I find it helps. You can feel your voice in your throat and or face.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It kind of depends. Without wanting to get too far off track, I have issues with my eustachian tubes. Those are the things that, like, if yours get plugged up when you're swimming.
Oh, I hate that feeling.
Yeah, it's not great. Mine
Yeah.
are just perma malformed,
Oh.
and the downside to this is that clearing my ears can sometimes be a pain, and sometimes they can clog independently, like even if the weather gets wonky. And the
Ooh.
thing is, my voice will volume up relative so that I think that I'm the right volume,
Oh.
which I can't feel necessarily in my throat until somebody points out,
Yep.
you're kind of yelling.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have to plug my nose and do the whole thing again.
Oh, I
Hang
hate
on.
that. Yep.
But yes, moving on. Let's see what happens when Havelock starts shooting wolves.
Yes.
What do you got for me?
All right.
These
Well-
guys are a little ways behind you, so
Yep.
you guys probably have a little bit of time to
I have
pick off a couple. But
exactly. I've also got a rock steady mount here.
Yeah, well, he doesn't breathe, or excuse
They
me,
don't,
they don't
breathe. They don't move if I don't want It's great. All right, dice rolls. So, yeah, that and it's the sidearm, so you know,
Mhm, mhm.
already pre-magicked for Havelock, and they're gonna try to put a bit of just pure, ooh, I have an idea for what Havelock's gonna try to do. They're gonna channel, just pure destruction into the weapon, ideally.
Mhm, mhm.
just the slaughter.
Just like a disintegrate spell, so to
Yeah,
speak.
think more lightless flame than slaughter.
Mm,
Okay, okay.
a disintegration spell.
Exactly, basically a disintegration spell. And so Havelock just starts creepily muttering under their breath as they cock the hammer for their revolver. And either the bits you can make out that aren't in like a weird combination of languages that you don't understand, you occasionally hear words like lightless flame,
Mhm.
flame and devastation.
Uh-huh.
And then how many dice am I rolling?
They're a good distance off. You've got a magicked up firearm that you're comfortable using. No immediate danger. I mean, there's danger coming, but it's not
Yes,
on yet.
yeah,
3d6.
exactly. All right. Exclamation point 3d6. His sidekick seems to be on a permanent smoke break. All right, 4.
There's
yes.
4.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So,
Clean, solid shot.
Yep.
Nothing extraordinary.
yep, just a clean hit right to, I don't know, one of their heads. And
Yeah.
it their body, if I could just like, I don't know, more for flavor than anything else.
Flavor it up.
They seem to melt almost. They seem to like melt into this like ash that just billows away pretty quickly.
Yeah, like they got snapped.
Yep. And Havelock's like, well, this is getting.
Well, anyone else
that
want
went well.
to thin out the crowd?
I just ask if I can move now.
Yep. That was
Oh,
that was
yeah.
all I needed.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right. And I start lining up a shot with the shotgun.
Alrighty. Anything fancy there, or just shooting gallery?
Just taking a shot at him.
Sounds good. Give me 3d6.
All right, 1 sec.
Yeah. In the meantime, do either of our mages have anything they want to cook up?
Yersinia is just like faster would be better because last time she checked, she can't do shit to these things.
Ah,
And
Oh.
Mithra is a little bit busy holding on to
what's 3?
the
again?
never was.
That'd actually be a 2, and that's a yes, but.
Mm.
So,
Should the yes but be that even though it was a shotgun blast, it only hit one of them?
Yeah, I mean these aren't far enough out for the spread to really nail more than one of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
And
unless
the
you've got like
shotgun's
a
choke on it as well.
Yeah.
all right.
Shotgun spread is so much more dramatic in video games than it is in
Oh,
real
yeah,
life.
No,
Always.
yeah, no. IRL, you can nail a target 100 yards out with a shotgun blast.
Oh,
like, it's
yeah.
nothing.
I have. It's amazing.
Oh, shotguns are so fun. Love them.
Anyway, yeah, you nail one of them pretty solidly, and drop it. But these things are clearly a little bit intelligent. After the first shot, after Havelock obliterated the first one, they sort of spread out in their pursuit a little bit. So you nail
Clever
one of them,
things.
but they are spread out enough that hitting more than one of them is going to be a piece of work. Like unless you actively do like a chain lightning type of deal.
Ooh.
A chain lightning shotgun blast would be rad.
Say,
I'm
we
now
should
just
come up with
getting-
some really fun ideas for enhancements to your guns or
I
the
mean,
You
ammo
got two
you
mages
use.
and two gunslingers, and one of each of those is the same character. So there's
Exactly.
a lot of options for magic.
What was I referring
like
to
I'm
that?
getting ideas like getting ideas for like sci-fi shotgun loads,
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
like chaff
There's a
that
lot you can do
electricity can
there.
arc between.
Fuck yeah.
Go Dr. Technus for
You
say
can
you'll
do
only
all
die at least
kinds
3
of-
times. I want to contribute, but really, it would just be firing spells, and I think I'd.
That's not a bad thing. Anything helps.
Can I choose to deliberately have a mediocre failure of a roll?
What would the roll be for? Out of
I'm just
curiosity?
gonna fire chromatic orb, and it's just gonna sort of miss, and basically, or not have an effect, or whatever you feel is best.
I'd allow a deliberate failure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
deliberate
like
failures
that
tend
'cause-
to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, mostly just because last time Dreadfusade managed to do the clockwork orb, and she's just like,
Mhm.
is that something about here, or is that something about? So she just sort of fires another one. She's not quite on her game today. It's just a ball of like, let's say fire. It's a ball of fire.
Yeah, or a fireball, as
Fireball.
you might
Uh-huh.
say.
Mm.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
It's just like, oh, that's normal. Huh.
You seem more disappointed than normal. seeing
Yeah.
that.
She also
Mhm.
misses, to be fair. Like, it doesn't. She's like,
Mhm.
yesterday I fired a ball of clockwork that atomized something, and today I'm firing
I mean,
fire.
that was like an hour or two ago.
An hour ago.
Yeah, that was
yes.
not long ago.
That wasn't that long ago, no. She just tries again. It's like, oh, okay.
Man, and that fireball wasn't even singing. It didn't turn anything into flowers. What am I even doing?
Man. What a boringly mundane spell.
You vow to never
Get
cast
back in
anything
second.
that dull ever again.
Yup.
So the Elsewolves continue their pursuit. There's fewer of them now. There's still 7 of them, and they are slowly gaining. But the horses are significantly faster on the air than you guys were on the ground. And the center of the city and the tower that extends from it are starting to come up. As you make your approach, you look down towards the city streets, and you see
Welcome back.
a Elsewolf that is moving between the buildings that is about as large as they are. That it's hard to tell from above, but is easily 100 feet long or so. And probably a couple
Justinia sees
stories
that and
high.
she's like, go
And
faster,
it is
faster,
it's looking up at you
faster.
with what definitely looks like interest.
This is the scene from Jurassic Park. Move faster.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The other wolves on the street are almost like specks, and they seem to give this particularly large one a wide berth. and it's large enough that it kind of keeps pace with you even without having to run it, break into a sprint. And you're looking towards the tower that is starting to grow large in your vision, and you're realizing you're going to have to make a choice.
And that choice is?
Landing and trying to get in the front door, or crashing through a window.
We're going through a window, guys.
I'm shooting at a
Hell
window. Can I
yes.
shoot out the window first? Would that be a roll?
Honestly, I don't know that you got to do a roll for that one.
Yeah, it is just shooting a window.
Yeah, it's a stationary object that you're heading straight towards. Yeah, no, you're a decent enough Mark's board?
machine.
Marks
machine.
them?
Mark's machine sounds really cool.
Mark's machine
so I'm
does sound
sticking with
good.
that one.
That machine kills fascists.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you just level your shotgun, and the shape of the tower is it has that, what's that shape? I'm gonna describe
Minaret
it.
style?
Yeah,
where it's
minaret style,
got,
like it has an onion bulb on top of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like a massive scepter, essentially. It's got that traditional, like, just straight octagonal 8-sided tower.
I am
and
partly
then-
from the Middle East, so I get to make the joke that it looks like a penis.
And then the spire of it is essentially a big onion shape that is rendered in some very lovely like midnight blue glass. And you just bust out a pane of that glass and
Ow. Sorry.
blast through that and come to a very ungracious landing. It's less of a gentle landing and more of a fuck it. This is an emergency landing. I sure hope everyone's got their seatbelts on and tray tables in the upright lock position.
I apologize for everybody in advance for
We're
this.
coming in a bit rough.
Oh yeah.
Not to a degree where it's like you're going to injure yourself, but definitely,
But it's
definitely a
gonna
bit
suck.
discombobulating.
Any landing you can walk away from is a good landing.
Agreed.
And
Looks like,
you crash through the window
Mhm.
and just sort of ungraciously splatter across the tile, along the tile there, essentially. You came in on the minaret that you crashed into is larger than it looked on approach. Not in a TARDIS style, bigger on the inside, but just when you're approaching something at high speed, it's hard to get a good idea of scale. But now that you are sprawled in here and are, actually have a moment to get your bearings, it's probably, I'm trying to think of something that would be suitable scale, but coming up a little bit blank, but as broadly, at least football field sized.
Wow.
In diameter, and the room that you're in is massively vaulted and goes up a few stories even from here, and it is filled with it's filled with a sort of a tube almost that's about as big around as Nebulous is tall. Actually, it's more like a cable, and it's knotted and like wound throughout this massive room like a huge knot, like a Gordian knot in a sense. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Not yet. You're not.
And
Okay.
Was that okay? And
No, that was okay. Like, okay, enough of the penis
Fair
jokes.
enough.
Continue.
But it's noticeably significantly more sci-fi or sort of high tech than you'd expect given the construction that you've seen thus far. And this thing stretches on for, like, if it were cut up and laid out in a line, probably stretch for miles. But it's just woven throughout this whole space like a web.
I will just out of character. I will say
Mhm.
now, entering the new location with the crash landing might be like this. Feels like an incredibly organic cutoff point since you have to leave soon.
Yes, yeah. I'm describing this so that we can essentially end after this. Yeah.
Fair.
And thank you for reminding me of the time because I will be bugging out shortly.
Better to end early. Better to end a bit early than to go on and accidentally get cut off in the middle of something.
Yes, absolutely. You as you you kind of get your bearings and get on your feet and look behind you, and the wolves that were pursuing you sort of come within a fairly close distance of the window, and then like break off and basically turn back. They had every opportunity to follow you through the gap, and they don't seem to. They make the choice not to.
That could be a good thing. Probably isn't.
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Filing that away under deeply suspicious.
Yeah. I mean, what hasn't been filed away under there thus far?
Lots of
Yersinia
things.
has about 3 gigs worth.
Yeah, there's a lot that's been filed away there before, but you know, not everything. Like, I'm not particularly suspicious of the Never Was.
Maybe you should be. We don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah, I'm still like, I don't know. I'm suspicious of everything because we have like an ounce of context just from what some mob members said. So I'm taking everything we've learned from that with several grains of salt.
You got a whole salt shaker going.
Taking that with a shaker of salt.
Speaking of the Never Was, they sort of just in that oddly cheerful tone that they've maintained the entire time, they just sort of pipe up and said, "We're here."
I gathered. Is this, and have like just gestures in general around at this knotwork of tubes, the wishing engine?
The part of it in this dimension, yes.
Ah, fascinating.
Interesting.
Is it that a single machine spans between dimensions, or are there individual machines in different dimensions?
They are individual, but they individually cross multiple dimensions.
Fascinating.
That's not confusing at all.
It's like something that's built in one-dimensional, second dimensional, third dimensional, fourth dimensional space, and arguably some higher dimensions beyond. And the parts that you can see are simply the parts that intersect with the three-dimensional space you exist in.
Makes sense.
That's me sort of filling you in rather than the Never Was.
Yep.
But you have enough of an understanding of like how higher dimensions work to grasp that, even if you can't visualize it. It's sort of a like, okay, that makes sense, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. From somewhere deep in this massive agglomeration of tubes and cables and wires, you hear a clicking, scraping, scrabbling sound, like something like a centipede with metal legs. That's the
I don't like that.
Oh, how fun.
Yersinia says something like, "Uh-oh, heralds," and then goes, "Wait, what did I say?" Those don't exist in this story verse. Continue.
Yes, they do.
Or do they?
do now.
They may.
Always fear the smiling GM.
And that's where we're going to leave off today.
Oh, unkind.
I love it.
I hate it.
Damn it.
My brain hasn't been working
Dreadfusate,
properly,
or
and I
it's not
fear
you, Dreadfusate.
for all.
AK, I'm gonna like pump you for information because this was.
I.
You know what's great is I'm
Ooh.
gonna see Ian on Saturday, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying a word.
Damn
I'm gonna
it!
get AK. You don't understand. I'm gonna like make your favorite food, and then I'm going to like just lure
Sit on
the
it.
answers out of you.
I demand knowledge. Mother,
do.
I crave violence.
I can promise that all will be revealed this time next week on the Nebulous
Ah,
Collection.
How fucking dare?
damn
How
it.
fucking dare?
Leaving you bitches on a cliffhanger.
Motherfucker.
All right.
right.
Well,
Can be quite bad things. Yes, this brain
Mm.
time.
All right. So, now what? Let's see.
AK has to go
Who's
do their
around?
wonderful thing.
Obligation and dinner.
Oh, yes, of course.
So
Who's
Have-
around to
Have a
raid?
good
Who we got?
time.
Ophelia. Ophelia's
Oh my
live.
god. Oh, wow. I was gonna say we
What?
could raid into Zumi, but nah, Zumi's got like 3 times the damn viewers of Bun.
What?
Holy
That's
shit!
Let's
Wild.
raid Bun then.
Oh no! The forbidden words have come for Zumi. I'm writing in. I can't.
What?
The S
Simps.
the S1
The
MPs.
Simps.
We're not allowed to say Simps.
Yeah, we are.
That's a
Claim,
slur.
according to Jeff Bezos says it's a slur.
Jeff
and-
Bezos can break his jaw eating my entire ass.
I don't think he quit, didn't he?
All of
Who
it,
do I
the
blame for
whole
Amazon
damn
now?
thing.
Well, he didn't quit. He took up like
Stepped down
a
as the
board
CEO.
member.
Yeah, he's not like a. Yeah.
Okay, I can still blame him.
he's still
Good.
doing his nasty shit.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like
He's
still
still
every bit as
being-
He's still-
deserving of the
he's still a
guillotine as he
billionaire.
was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's still getting the guillotine when the day comes. So,
You either give away all the money to the poor people, or you get the guillotine, Jeff.
and
The
then
question
we
is,
How it works.
and then we give away all the
You-
money anyway.
If
Yeah.
you want to live, you give the money away.
Yep.
Jeffrey,
All right, so
buddy.
either way, who am I?
Just
Who am I
stop being
raiding
rich.
today?
Raid the Bun.
Fine,
Raid
I'll
the
raid
Bun.
Bun.
Or we could raid someone that needs more viewers.
I mean, this is valid. At the same time, I'm always biased because I love a boy.
Hold on. I'll send a link.
Okay.
Jesus. Seriously,
Just tell me how to spell their name.
Zumi has a fuck ton of views.
Yeah, I don't know
Send a
what
link
happened
in
Well,
to
that's
the
Zumi.
because
share.
Zumi
Ah.
has like amazing eyeliner, and I'm like,
I mean, yeah.
I watch.
I think that is a
watch
lot of it,
her
and-
stream, and it's just like I don't know if she uses like I've seen tutorials where you can use tape to get perfect eyeliner, but I'm just permanently like green levels of jealous
Yep.
over her eye makeup skills.
Zumi is really cool. I wish she had guests in voice. I'd hang around more. But I am easily bored. I have, in Ianthe's words, a bad personality and a very short attention span.
Yeah, different stream
You
for different
like
people.
that's the thing about you, Nick, is that you feel like third house trash to me. Like you really feel like third house trash.
Kinda,
don't know
yeah.
what this means.
Kinda. A
And like I
bit.
say that as somebody who is literally just about like half ninth and half third.
I mean, according to that test thing, I'm either 4th or 6th, and 6th probably, but like, I'd be that weird recluse in the 6th house that like people go to when they need things and never lightly. Not because that I'm like terrible or anything, but just because like I will be high.
I mean, one of the things apparently, so there's a short story that I have not read that's part of the Gideon verse
Anyway,
that is called.
one quick thing.
Anyway, yeah.
Be well, everyone. Away we go to raid.
Bye.
Keep
Bye.
it sticky.
Hold on. Tell the person we're raiding Dax said hi.
Yeah, do that.
Dex said keep it sticky.